been injured in an accident, one thing leads to another. Your injury leads to treatment. Treatment leads to hospital bills. Bills lead to debt. Debt leads to stress. The advocates can help relieve that stress. Having an advocate attorney on your side leads to faster resolutions, fair outcomes, and a peaceful recovery for you. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show, live on your YouTube machine. Good Football Friday to you, friends. As always, it's presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. I was talking to a guy today sitting at a red light in Las Vegas and got hammered by a local garbage truck. Turns out the guy was talking on his phone and not paying attention. That's not your fault. That's why you need somebody to fight for you. You need The Advocates. They fought the fight. They've won the fight. Do not trust your insurance company. You trust The Advocates, where you get clear, risk-free advice. In fact, you don't pay The Advocates unless and until they win your case. 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. And again, reminding you, we are in full swing. It is Friday, September 5th. Schools are back in session. This is one of those late summer weekends. Slow down on the roads. Look left, look right, look left, look left, look left, and then roll into the intersection inappropriately. Because that's what guys who drive Subarus do. Isn't that right, Jake?
That's right. Yeah, that's an obligation.
You know.
Right.
I don't even know where to start today because Jake is, as you guys know, Jake moved to Eugene. And so he doesn't wear underwear anymore. And, you know, he shows up talking about how great CeeDee Lamb was last night and Dak sucks. And maybe if Dak threw a better ball, CeeDee would have caught it and Jalen wouldn't have spit in his face. And, you know, the Cowboys could have won the game, but it's all Dak's fault.
Right. I think that's like verbatim what I said. I think so.
I believe it is.
Right.
I believe it is.
Right.
I want my flowers today. I don't want excuses. I don't want half-truths about vaccines. No. I want Dak Prescott love, and I want it right now in the comments section because my guy, and he is my guy, I am the singular defender of Dak Nation on the Monty Show. I'm not sure that Dak Nation's a real thing. It just felt bigger.
Yeah, it just felt bigger, which is important for you, you know.
That's what he said.
Stay hard. Can you measure
it? You know, Dak, I thought, was very good last night, and I think Dak Prescott deserved better. And not only did he make me $100 on Prize Picks last night, but the Dallas Cowboys should have won the football game last night. And inexplicably, CeeDee Lamb just decides not to catch a football. Now, I know, where have we heard that CeeDee Lamb can't catch a cold? I believe we've heard that right here on the Monty Show, where I have told you, hey, CeeDee Lamb can't catch a cold. And I think he's one of the most overrated wide receivers in the NFL. And I absolutely am all in on Dak Prescott because what happened last night, Jake, was a complete debacle of CeeDee Lamb's making.
Yeah, I mean, what was the problem, buddy? Was it that it hit you in the hands? I mean, I don't know that Dak could have made better throws. I mean, you know, I just felt like, you know, the one where Lamb is moving right to left across the field and the safety's clearly coming for that ass and he just doesn't catch the ball, told me everything that I need to know about this guy. And it's frustrating because you're paid millions of dollars to catch a football and take the hit, and you just refuse to do it. And the crazy part is people are going to be out here regarding you as a number one, and you're this great wide receiver. But the reality is you cost your team a game last night. And I just I don't even think that's exaggerating. I don't even think that's a hot take. I honestly, like, there were probably 4 first downs that he just flat out dropped them. And whether it was a 5-yard in route or a 20-yard go route, like, he just dropping balls everywhere. And I just was like, dude, like, I understand that that, Dak doesn't have like a full complement of wide receivers in that room. But I mean, maybe someone else
They can't
deserves
afford
a
it.
chance. Like, right, but like throw it to someone else then, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm tired of like listening to Lamb in the post game talk about, oh well, I was praying for moments like these, and man, I really needed. I'm grateful the ball comes my way, and I'm gonna bounce back. Like, dude, shut up. Like, stop. Like,
Here's
catch
CeeDee Lamb. Here's CeeDee Lamb making excuses.
And that's terrible. Honestly, I feel like I can't point no fingers at anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And I take full accountability and everything else that come with it. Because as for me as a player, I've prayed for moments like that. You know what I'm saying? And the ball to come my way, and obviously for me to not come up with it, bro, it stings a little bit. But I will tell you, if you think I'm not coming back any times harder than this, you got another thing coming.
Do you think playing in the preseason would help at all? Come on.
Nah, that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on right now. I need to catch the damn ball.
But the problem is, and I love the thoughts and prayers, and CD, from your soul, where
I pray for moments like that.
And even if you used your soul or your rectum, you still wouldn't catch the football.
I need to catch the damn ball.
Yeah, but you don't, and so you can't, and you never have. He's never been that guy, and I'll go back, what was that, 2 years ago now, I guess, where I said, hey, is it that he hit CeeDee Lamb in the hands and then the ball hit CeeDee in the face and it got picked off his helmet? Oh, well, Dak this. It's not Dak Prescott's fault in Dallas. And I'll continue to tell all the Cowboy fans on this show who continue to get into Dak Prescott on this show, who continue to say that, this guy and it's his fault. It's not his fault.
And glory holes.
It's Jerry's fault. And the fact, I don't have a problem. Okay, you traded Micah Parsons. You didn't want to have three guys be 80% of your salary cap. Okay, I can even get down with that. Why you traded him to the Packers? Well, I have no idea. But what are you doing to make Dak Prescott the best quarterback he can be? Because I looked at, and again, I say this about college quarterbacks, I do the same thing in the NFL. I look at every one of his throws, and you see these throws, that's a touchdown. Now, is it a hospital ball? Yes, it is. But that should have been a touchdown. There's no excuse for that ball not being caught for a first down right there. There's no excuse. You look at the footwork, it's fantastic. Hangs on to it, drops the ball. That would have been a touchdown. That would have been a touchdown. You look at this throw right here. Is it a little overthrown? Yes, but it went right through his hands.
I need to catch the damn ball.
It hit CeeDee in the hands. You can no longer say that Dak Prescott's the problem in Dallas, because everything that I said, I am sexy, I am good looking, your wife is attracted to me, and I was exactly right about Dak Prescott. And I'll continue to tell you this. Generally, as a rule, and it's probably because so many people at a certain four-letter network pounded it into my face, you've got to get it right on the quarterback.
Timothy.
And I'm telling you, I got it right on the quarterback. And I will continue to tell you the biggest problem in Dallas on offense isn't that they don't have an offensive line. It isn't that they don't have a quarterback. It isn't that they don't have a running back. They don't have dudes to catch the football. And you're paying the quarterback $50 million a year to throw to dudes who can't catch the football.
I've prayed for moments like that.
That's a problem. That is, and I don't know how you fix it in the near term.
Yeah, I don't know either. But what I do know is there's other guys on the roster that you can throw the ball to who probably would actually like catch the football. There's ways to draw up schemes where, like other side of the coin last night. Like, what are we doing with AJ Brown, dude? What are we doing? Like, how does he have 0 targets in the first half? How does that work?
No idea.
Like, how are you not throwing the ball to him even one time? And I understand, hey, it's Saquon. They were running all over him. I totally respect that, dude. But that's no excuse to not give Buddy at least, 3 targets in the first half? Like, just get dudes' hands on the ball. Like, I just don't understand why NFL teams make this so difficult, dude. Whether it's Jera, trading dudes or signing the wrong guy or taking too long, whether it's, just the Eagles and that offense and the issues they went through with Hurts and then, Sirianni being trouble and then winning the Super Bowl. Like, there's just drama everywhere, bro. And you know what bothers me the most? We had an instant classic cooking last night, dude.
Yes.
We had a 40 burger cooking last night. And what do we get? What do we get? Oh, there's lightning in the area. All right, cool, dude. Cool, bro. Sorry, there's lightning half a mile away and we got to pause the game, bro. I was so pissed, dude. I was like, finally we get a great, Thursday night matchup. It's not, the Jags versus another team nobody gives a damn about. We actually have like an NFC East, like punch you in the face kind of matchup. And we got to, delay the game only for the game to finish with the exact score it had going to the half. Like, come on.
I think the sad part about this is the Cowboys should have won the game. This was the Philadelphia Eagles, not at their best. The Jalen Carter spitting thing, how is this guy allowed on the field for the first 2 weeks of the season? Because I don't know. Is there any more disrespectful act that you can perpetrate against another person than spitting on them? And Dak, I understand I made the mistake and I want to apologize. Before I should have said this to start the show.
Apologize to that man.
I apologize for watching Colin Cowherd today. I apologize.
Well, what are you doing? Well,
It's a mistake.
How do you do that?
Jake, I'm dumb. You know this. I'm dumb. I'll never be that dumb again.
I pray for moments like that.
When you're talking about, when you're saying that Dak Prescott started it, I don't know how to defend that. Did Dak spit? Yes. Was it in Jalen's face? No, it was on the ground. Jalen Carter very clearly, with intention, spit on Dak Prescott. And that's a 2-game suspension. I don't know how. One game does nothing. These guys make so much money. One game does nothing. He is clearly a critical piece of their defense. They were not the same defensive line without him. And you need to punish him severely. It should be 2 games, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they need to punish him enough to where he respects the punishment. So if that's 2 games or whatever it is, like I felt like, one of the things that I think that we saw last night that I didn't love out of the NFL was this whole like, hey, we're going to enforce no taunting and not standing over guys and like not talking junk. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, this is right up the alley with the Jalen Carter thing. And I was like, no, not really, dude. Like when you spit in someone's face, that's a little bit different. But, I would agree that 2 games feels nice, but overall, I feel like the NFL is going down this road where we don't want guys playing with emotion. We don't want guys, having the big hit, celebrating the big hit. Yeah, heavy ass sigh. I sighed last night too. Why are we penalizing Buddy? Can't remember his name on the Eagles. Why are we penalizing him for standing over dude after a big hit? Why are we doing that?
Because it was an illegal hit, first of all. Second of all, I can't believe you're making this argument. I don't believe this is akin to MMA fighters knocking a guy out and then standing there and taunting him. You don't do that. That's not how the fight game works. That's not how. There's a level of respect and professionalism that's required. If it's Pop Warner or high school football, even, okay, I get it. You're not mature. You've never been here before. This is the NFL, where they are well aware they have a violence problem. You can't stand over a guy on an illegal hit. And are you talking about the one in the end zone?
Where it was penalized? Not the one in the end zone. No, the one earlier in the game. It was like, I can't remember the dude's name. It wasn't It wasn't the Blankenship hit. Not that hit. The one earlier in the game where they were running the football and it was just a good hit. And he just kind of stood over him for a minute.
Yeah,
and
I know what you mean. Yes.
And so like the Blankenship hit, I felt like, yeah, that was an illegal hit. That was clearly contact to the head.
Defenseless receiver.
Yeah. Like, and I agree that was a hospital ball out of Dak, even though it should have been caught. But I just think that, listen, if I want to watch a game that is gentlemanlike, I will watch baseball. I will watch golf. I will watch, a different sport. The NFL, yes, has a violence problem, but it is inherently a violent sport. It is inherently a sport where physicality and being the stronger guy and like laying the wood to a dude is part of the culture of football. It's celebrated every day in football, yet we get to the game and we want to do this thing where we're like trying to make it so that dudes don't trash talk or they don't take it too far. Like,
right.
I just think there's like, I just think, and this was my gripe about baseball and like the pitch clock and the shift thing and like all these changes we're making. Like, I understand player safety. I agree with the contact to the head stuff. We shouldn't be trying to take dudes' heads off. But if it's a clean hit and you drop somebody with good technique, like I have no problem with you standing over dude for a minute and celebrating that.
Yeah, I'm not saying I necessarily I don't have a problem with celebrating a hit. I think it's very much like a home run.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
But this is it depends on the situation. I don't know, man. I am very well aware that we cannot have massive hits, the crackback blocks.
Yeah.
The game is fun. And the idea that they're taking the fun out of the game, I completely disagree with it. You can celebrate, I very much disagree with that. And I've heard it all morning long. I just don't anyway.
Like
spitting on Dak Prescott should be a 2-game suspension.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, the Blankenship hit was one of those. I feel like the NFL has done a good job of defining what's illegal and what's not illegal as far as hitting guys. Like,
yes.
The Blankenship hit was clearly illegal, clearly contact to the head.
Immediately threw a flag.
And in the olden days, right, before all the player safety initiatives came forward, that would have been a helmet-to-helmet hit for sure. Leading with the crown of the helmet, he would have dropped that dude. But instead, now he's using a shoulder pad, and that hit wasn't as bad, and dude gets up and is fine, and then they throw the flag because it's obviously an illegal hit. So I think they're doing a good job that way. I guess my point is I just don't want the game to get to this place where it's just not as fun as it once was, because I feel like we're approaching that line. We're not there yet, but we are approaching that line, and I don't want to see that.
Are you sure you're not just being a soft ass millennial?
Dude, I might be, dude. I mean, honestly, I might be. I mean, it may be my day. Maybe the 2 holes is getting soft days
that's
today.
Great.
But I don't know, man. I just don't want the game to lose its spice, if you will. I
don't believe that taunting is ever a thing. I just don't believe it should be allowed. I don't think, and it's why it is so strictly enforced in the fight game. And I very much view the NFL and the fight game as the same. You drop a dude, I understand if you want to jump up in the air or something like that, but you cannot stand over a guy. It's just not, it's not the right thing to do. I just don't. And I just think that it is unbelievable to me that you lost. Cause I don't even know the guy's name, and I'm probably being a jerk about this. The Eagle player, the fullback guy, Van, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Van Summer. Well, I can't remember his name. Who got hurt on the first play of the game. And then Jalen Carter gets a spitting penalty. Like you had the opportunity to control this game, and CeeDee Lamb dropping footballs prevented you from winning the game.
Van Summerin.
Van Summerin.
Ben
Van
Summerin.
Summerin. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just feel like that was the issue. In the comment section, what should the suspension, or maybe you don't think there's a suspension. I'm open to that. What should the penalty for Jalen Carter be? I think it should be a full 2-game suspension, period.
Are you saying that just because you want him to lose the game check? Like, in that sense, would you just be fine
No, I
with...
want the Eagles and the Eagles and every team in the NFL, we've got to stop spitting on people. It is not only disgusting, it is low cash. This is a $7 billion industry in the National Football League. We can be better than spitting on people.
Yeah.
And Jalen Carter is a key contributor to that football team, needs to miss multiple games to send a message, prove a point, excuse me. I just think that you can't do it.
Yeah, I agree.
You just can't have it. First one in today, Big Daddy Dallas. The NFL should treat being spit on like a punch in the face. Did you guys see? And I think it was Dallas's left tackle with that punch.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. The natural. Trash talk is part of the sport. The whole excessive taunting thing is not necessary. I agree. Trash talking and taunting are different.
Mm-hmm.
If a guy is on the ground and you're like, oh, these nuts, like, bro, come on. Like, grow up. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Mike Smith. Hey, Mike Smith. Good to see you, buddy. I remember the multitude of penalties for teams doing the horns down versus Texas.
Yes.
That's some soft-ass millennial stuff. Hey, where is V-Man? I'm not sure who V-Man is. Brandon Price, the light snow begins in 3 hours. Chiefs, Chargers, can't wait. 31-17. Chiefs. So you guys are getting light snow today?
No, light show.
I can't read. I'm old.
No.
You know, the light show begins in 3 hours. Should they be playing this game in Brazil? Sao Paulo, Brazil is where the Chiefs and Chargers play tonight. Does anybody care about this?
No. I care about Europe. I don't care about Brazil. And honestly, like, Brazil has never really worked out. I'm going to be like, in my opinion, I don't feel like Brazil is a good spot. I feel like the field is always crappy. It's never a good experience.
Field's crappy at the Hall of Fame game, though.
Yeah, but like, it's better at the Hall of Fame game than it is in Brazil. At least at the Hall of Fame game, you're like, yeah, all right, you're cool, you're in Canton, like, we're fine. We got, like, they at least have the excuse of we had a stage on the field or something. Like, I like the field in Brazil.
You guys remember that
trash,
though at the Hall
dude.
of Fame where it was a new turf and the paint was laid on too late and it melted and they couldn't play the game and San Diego State Glenn. Hello, Glenn. Good to see you, friend. Were you the one fan that showed up at Snapdragon last weekend? Probably two. Sorry. The WNBA has more of a violence problem. Did you guys see Katie Clark out for the year?
Mm-hmm.
Out for the year. That league just took a beating. Perry Stevenson. Perry, welcome to the show. Truthfully speaking. Okay, good. Hey,
as opposed to lying.
Everybody, Perry's not lying. Perry is no goddamn liar on this show.
Okay, so he's telling the truth here.
Brother, anytime a guy starts with, and listen, I'm going to be honest with you. They're lying. They're lying.
I'm going to be honest. Monty, I am going to be honest with you for the record.
Let's be honest. After the ejection of Carter and the injury to the Eagle player on the first play of the game, Dallas had a golden opportunity and blew it like Dallas always does. Man, that's very truthfully speaking.
Yeah,
really, I totally agree.
Nice
I think that's
job,
a great point, Perry. They had the game won. CeeDee Lamb had a touchdown in his hands, and he dropped it.
I need to catch the damn ball.
There's no
pretty point
you're
blank.
paying that guy $15 million
to drop the football.
He dropped 3 first downs and a touchdown last night. You guys understand that? There's no excuse for it. There's no need for taunting, period. Totally agree. Mike Smith, when Dallas was in the red zone and was about to score again, Miles fumbled, and that was the turning point in the game. I think that's a huge moment.
Yeah,
and the Dak diving. Did you guys see the tackle by Dak Prescott?
Yeah, what a garbage fumble, number one. Awful technique, balls exposed. I mean, just a terrible fumble. But then Dak is laying on his back and just grabs the guy's foot and tackles him, and that probably saved a touchdown.
Like, I don't even say he grabbed his foot. He full on, there's a frozen, and I should have retweeted it, but there's a shot of Dak, and he's like fully laid out. I don't know why I'm doing this right now.
Stay home.
My point. Yeah, he was fully laid out vertical to the ground, and that's a hell of a play.
You mean
that is a hell of a play.
Do you mean horizontal to the ground?
Shut up, Jake. King of Thailand. Bro, it's Friday and it feels like next Thursday. Did Dak spit by player who was hurt? That seems to be popular. No, he did not do that.
No, he was talking junk to Jalen Carter, dude.
Yes, they were mouthing back and forth.
Yeah.
Which Jake has done before. Conundrum, 1 million spit fine. That'll send a message. That's a lot of Jack. Keaton Critchlow, my guy.
Yeah, dude.
Good to see you, Keaton. I'm with Jake on this. Okay. Wasikowski, Carter's ejection call. Ejection?
They evicted him from the bench.
They evicted him from the ejection thing.
Yeah.
The ejection call was about as bad as the Michigan player being evicted. What do you mean evicted?
Okay, eviction this and evicted that.
Bro, you're supposed never. Anyway, Mike Smith. I don't think they kicked Carter out of his house, Eric Wasikowski, unless I missed it. And stuff. San Diego State Glenn says olden day guy. Okay. I like Jack Tatum. I like it. I want the game to be tough, except when it comes to brains, which never recovers fully. Exactly.
Hey,
right.
Tua, your thoughts?
Yeah. Mike Smith, I forgot I like extra punch or two than Hendo did on Bisbing. Well, yeah. But in the days where, like, Masvidal is probably the perfect example. If you go watch Masvidal punch, Masvidal's had multiple knockouts in the UFC where the guy is out cold like this, like he's done. The unwritten rule is you do not punch that guy in the face. What the rule is essentially is you jump on him, and by that time the ref should end the fight.
Yeah. And
Masvidal just continues to punch guys in the face. And it's just something you don't do. So his career's over. Allen Iverson stepping over Ty Lue. Well, what I mean? That was not good. King of Thailand, definitely going to get me violent if someone spits on me.
Yeah, okay, we can have this little sidebar. Reasons to go, right? Reasons to throw hands.
Bro, why are you going to throw hands?
Yeah, I mean, if someone spits in your face, I do think that's a reason to throw hands, bro.
We've talked about this, and I always come out sounding like a jerkwad on this. I don't know what it would take for me to punch somebody. If you spit on me, I probably wouldn't punch you. I would probably call the police and have you arrested for assault. I'm that kind of guy. If you spit on my wife or my kid, or hell, you spit on my BMW, I'm probably whooping wholesale ass. Right?
I pray for moments like that.
But the problem is I am such a big dude. I am 6'3" and 300 pounds. If I punch you in the face, I mean, the chances of
fucking unit.
Well, the chances of you dying are high. If I punch you in the face, you're probably going to sleep. I would assume.
Y'all feel me?
But it's not something I would do. He was ejected for the game, and he should have 2 more suspended games. They are really trying to emphasize the sportsman stuff this year, and I hope it happens. Mm-hmm. Gabriel has 1 or 2 games. Joey B, hey, Joey. 3 games and 3-game salary should be the fine. Big Sexy says 3-game inspections and a $1.8 million fine. So he has to inspect, like Jalen Carter has to stand and like metal detect people.
Should they, or do you mean inspections like Oak State James inspections? Is that what you were referencing?
So my wife it's her birthday today, so she's not working. She's here at the studio cleaning out a closet and just randomly trying on. I found an entire box of Monty Show t-shirts.
Really?
Yes, we should give them away.
Yeah.
But she's trying on like random shirts, bro. Like, okay. And I appreciate it. I do. My wife my wife turned 30 today. So make sure you find her on Dilly. She's not 30. Perry, that was my point, Monty. Dallas had a golden opportunity. 2 Eagles starters gone, and they blew it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I read snow too, right? Damn it. Like, here comes a snowstorm. God damn it. Yeah, I'm old. It is what it is. Yes, Greg Hawkins, Cubs win. It's the Washington Nationals. Should we really be?
Dub's a dub, bro.
Yeah, I'm a bitter ass Cubs fan because now I'm probably not going to be able to go to the Cubs playoff games.
What now? Let me tell you what now.
And I'm really a red ass because when you look at the Cubs today, and he didn't have a quality start, but I'm telling you, Javier Assad should be a major league pitcher. And they've got him on the bus back and forth to Iowa. And I don't know how to say, like, Kittredge, Rogers, and Hodge today. Hodge was dominant today. He and his 6.41 ERA. But, you know. But it's good to see the Cubs hitting. It's good to see Ian Happ hitting home runs again. It's good to see, you know, like Dansby, and it's good to see Nico leaving the yard. It's good to see PCA back on, you know, like it's huge. Getting spit on is one man's opinion.
What the hell does that mean?
No idea what that's about. You know, Assad stays up. Brown goes back to Des Moines. I hope that's true. Shout out to Nico Horner for getting his 6th home run, helping me go to the championship game in fantasy baseball. Let's go. Let's see. I will take one Monty Show shirt, 3X. Who knew that Big Daddy Magic wanted free stuff?
What?
I love that show.
Dude, I called you several weeks ago live on the show to give you a Bill shirt, and you didn't
never called back.
You blew
dude.
me off. You blew me off, and
Yeah.
you made it clear you don't want to be a guest on the show, and you know there's just no way. You know,
I mean, the pain that we're suffering due to your behavior is you know, irreparable. It's immense. It's the depths are unknown. Big Daddy Magic.
turn the stupid piano. No, don't encourage him, Joey B. The background, because the problem is Jake's in control of the drops, most of them, and he's got the piano music, and so I'll be like, oh man, Justin Herbert's got to have a big seat. Oh man, you know, let me tell you about Caleb Williams, his mom, and the titties and stuff, and he'll just roll out like, oh, you know, the Cubs, we should have gone to the World Series, like, and he just starts playing, and then, like, because Jake doesn't have allegiances to anything or anyone.
Right.
You know,
I'm a lone wolf, you know.
He's Duck season. He's an Oregon fan.
Right.
And so he's like, oh, and he won't play the piano music. You know, it's disgusting to me. And it's insulting. Let's see. You need to clean out that closet to fit the new Gloria Navarez money. That's what I'm saying. She's in the pocket. You know, they're paying
us so much money that it's flowing right out of our pocket.
I have not talked about Gloria Navarez on this show. You know, Nazarene, is she Jesus of Nazarene? I haven't talked about Gloria Navarez on the show in a month, and Angelo rolls in here and he's like, "Hey, Gloria Navarez pays you guys." I don't know why. I don't know why Gloria. Jersey. I have no idea why Gloria's catching strays on Football Friday, but hey, it is what it is, right? What it is. I'll give away my stinking Dodger jersey since they can't beat the Sisters of the Poor. Bro, are you ever not pissed off? Phil Venser is, bro, I want a nicer shuttle bus. God damn it. Like, Phil losing his
parking
mind.
should be free, Monty. It's ridiculous.
What, you're going to park on campus where people break into your car. It's Vegas. You park everywhere and people break into your car, dude.
Fucking ticks me off.
It's 1,000 degrees. They need money for water, dude, because you don't have running water in Vegas anymore.
Suckmyass.com.
I guess it's Friday for everybody, right? Like, you know. Bears play this Sunday before the Lions and Packers. No, the Bears play Saturday. I wish it was, but
no, the Bears play Monday, dude.
Monday Night Football against Save Harbaugh, Free Harbaugh. Jim's a jerk. And the Minnesota Vikings. So we'll see about all that. Tonight, don't forget Chiefs and Chargers tonight. before we get into college football and all that, I am telling you, this is a massive game for Justin Herbert. Like, this is, and I'm probably the only one who thinks it. I think this is a make or break season in his career.
Did you hear the Ryan Clark take on Justin Herbert?
Did
you
not.
hear it? Okay, here we have it in here. Play it. But Ryan Clark went in on Justin Herbert and basically said that he's not the guy that you want on your team, essentially.
All right, RC.
How well Patrick Mahomes plays in this game. You know why? Because I've seen him be the best quarterback in the world in so many moments that matter, that what Patrick Mahomes does in the first week of the season is just the first week of the season for me. For Justin Herbert, right, this dude that we crown a top 10 quarterback, this person that his own coach says everybody else needs to raise their level of play in order to be in the position that he's in. You're talking about the last time Patrick Mahomes played? I know you watch a lot of film. You probably watch so much film and you didn't backlog so much stuff. You probably pushed away what Justin Herbert looked like against the Texans.
It was bad.
You probably thought that to myself, there ain't no way Justin Herbert threw more interceptions in one playoff game than he did the entire season. Not Mr. I could throw a football through a pinhole. Not him. Not look how tall he is. Look at his flowing locks. Look who his new girlfriend is, right? Not that guy. Justin Herbert, whenever it matters, has been terrible. Justin Herbert didn't win big games in college as talented as he was. Justin Herbert in 2 games in the playoffs in the league. You lose a 27-0 lead. You go throw 4 interceptions against the Texans. I think Justin Herbert is extremely talented. I also think Justin Herbert is the fun friend, right? Justin Herbert is the friend you invite over when you're having a party. If something serious is happening, you don't bring him over because he's not responsible, accountable, and you can't depend on.
Bruh.
He's not wrong. I mean, I love the guy, but that and I want to make this clear. Ryan Clark, I would almost call him a friend of mine. I loved working with him at ESPN. We did great radio shows together, and he is jealous of my Jordans collection, all of it. Like, I really like RC, and he is exactly right. And I think I almost said that yesterday, that Justin Herbert, if you want to look at a guy throwing a football, Justin Herbert's your guy. Mm-hmm. He is hot as hell. He is a statue. I'd hit that. He throws a very pretty football. He's got beautiful, long, flowing hair. But if it's January and you need a completed pass, he's probably not my first pick. And I really want him to be that guy. But you know what I think the truth is? He needs to leave the Chargers to become that guy.
And that's what's so unfortunate is like, I like, it was so nice that the Chargers had a franchise quarterback and they just haven't been able to put anything together. And I do agree that with RC that, yeah, he did play like trash in that playoff game. There's no question about it. The problem isn't that he played like trash in that game, though. The problem is that he doesn't go to the playoffs regularly. So he plays in the one game, plays like trash, and hasn't really had many other opportunities to correct the record. So, the question is that, when is he going to be able to get into an organization that actually will do right by him and give him what he needs? Because I feel like whether it's Dak or Justin Herbert or hell, even Mahomes. I mean, how many days on the program do we sit here and talk about Mahomes having weapons or not? Or is this the year? Like, that's the issue with all these quarterbacks, man.
And I know that you don't like this, and Jake and I have had massive fights about Josh Allen on this show. You've got to do it when the brightest lights are on you. And Patrick Mahomes, to RC's point, does that. You look at guys who are the best quarterbacks. Just give me, Jake, name 3 of the best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Joe Montana, Tom Brady,
Tom Brady,
Patrick Mahomes. When did they do it? Because I think those are the 3 best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, and Patty Ice. Well, they all won multiple Super Bowls, and they all love the big moment. They play hurt. They play. It doesn't matter if Jake is their best wide receiver. He's getting the football, and he's scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, with my 8-second 40-yard dash.
Because you're fat. The point is, I can't sit here and tell you that if you plug my guy Justin Herbert, into the Cincinnati Bengals, I don't know if he's a better quarterback.
Is Justin Herbert better than Brock Purdy in that system? Because that's what you have to do. You got to take the best offenses and be like, hey, is he as good? Are they as good with him as they are now?
Well, the best offense last year, I think, was the Cincinnati Bengals and the passing offense. But you look at Brocktober is a really good example. He's Brocktober because
he performs in October.
And he's got arguably the second best quarterback guy in the NFL coaching him.
Yeah.
And you look at Justin Herbert, I agree he hasn't had good coaching, and I don't know that he has good coaching now.
Just a stalwartness.
Because Jimbo, I was there with him in San Francisco. Colin Kaepernick got to a certain point and stopped under Jim Harbaugh. And then you get a guy like anybody that played under Jim as a quarterback at Michigan. Where are they? Is J.J. McCarthy some well-tuned, unbelievable machine? No. But Jim Harbaugh is allegedly a quarterback guru. Justin Herbert has got to do it on his own now because excuse time's over. Josh Allen's got to win a Super Bowl or he's going to be the guy who couldn't do it in the biggest moment, right? Because he keeps losing to Patrick Mahomes, who always does it in the biggest moment. That's the problem. And I look at last night's game. Jalen Hurts got it done. Jalen Hurts, who's a guy I've told you I love him. I think he's horribly underrated. And he gets it, that run for the touchdown where he dives past the pylon.
Sensational.
He gets it done. I look at, again, you guys don't believe me. I think Dak Prescott's one of the best passing quarterbacks in the NFL.
Do the Ravens have a Super Bowl if Herbert's their quarterback instead of Buddy?
Yes. Because the Ravens need to throw for touchdowns. And Lamar can't do that. Lamar's got to win. Lamar's got to win a Super. Yes. Caleb Williams is the thank you.
Yeah.
Jerky
I agree with that example.
Texted me. Caleb Williams is a great example of this, right? As Bears fans, this guy, what my excuse is, he got sacked 897 times last year and still put up rookie of the year numbers.
Right.
Now I would be surprised if they broke 30 sacks this year. If all things being equal, the offensive line stays together. If he doesn't throw for 4,000 yards and 25, 30 touchdowns, that's a Caleb Williams problem. And I fully believe that he will, because that system, as we've seen in his one live stretch, is built to do what he does best. There's no more excuses. You've got one of the best offensive minds coaching your team now. Right? Caleb Williams is a great example of this, but Justin Herbert has an offense, supposedly, and we didn't see it last year because I still don't even believe that last year that Charger offense was built around Justin. This year, I don't know how it's not. They went and spent money on offense to help him. He's got 3 legitimate wide receivers, a running back, and 3.5 really good offensive linemen. The excuses are probably gone. I'm very much a believer that you have a quarterback or you don't. And it's hard for me to say it out loud. I don't know if the Chargers have a quarterback. I want to believe it. But again, if I want to look at somebody that's cut like a statue and throws a football like a rocket launcher, give me Justin Herbert. If I want to look at somebody win a Super Bowl when they're throwing a football, get him the hell out of the way because he's blocking my view. That's the biggest issue. And I love the guy. I hated him at Oregon because he was good. But RC makes a good point. He didn't win big games at Oregon.
Yeah, and my biggest problem is that you guys aren't on Prize Picks taking him for more than 233.5 yards tonight, because that's a gimme, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think that's a gimme against that defense. I mean, we'll see. Mike Smith, hey, Monty Show. He tagged me.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Did you see the podcast with 4 Notre Dame fans saying stuff and shutting down their site because of it? I have no idea what you're talking about. One guy said it, and the others were happily nodding away with it. Mike, I have no idea.
What do you mean they were saying? So what does that mean? They were saying stuff like?
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Justin Herbert was a good replacement for Phil Rivers. He was, and he still has a chance to be elite because you can listen. Up until Jim Harbaugh got there, the system wasn't built for him. Right now, the shitty owners don't matter because they went out and spent money to support the offense. So you have a guy in Jim Harbaugh, jury's out, because I still don't believe he's a great NFL head coach.
I just think he's one of the most polarizing coaches. You either love him or you hate him,
his
dude.
shtick does not work for but a year or two.
Yeah, well,
that's as simple as it. That's a God's honest truth. For as many years as I've covered the NFL, and think back, I think my first year covering the NFL was 2002. 2001. Let's call it over 20 years. The hot-headed, I'm the guy, shut your mouth and do what I say guy never works.
Yeah.
They don't work. They just don't. Right? We're in an era now where guys like Andy Reid, who talks far less than his players. One of the beautiful things about Andy Reid, besides the walrus mustache, is that he talks far less than his players. Patrick Mahomes, stupid, not attractive tight end guy who's marrying an alien-looking lady. They get all the press. Andy Reid gets all the money, the rings, the accolades, the Hall of Fame.
All the stuff he's interested in.
If you look at coaches across this league that are good at what they do, and I look at my guy in Detroit, I look at Shanahan in San Francisco, Pete Carroll is an example of this. It's never about them, right? And one of the beautiful things that works so well in New England, it was never about Belichick until it was, and then he was gone, right? It was when they were winning, you never saw Belichick doing interviews. It was Tom Brady, it was Teddy Bruschi, it was that whole group of unbelievable guys. Gronkowski was the, pound like a porn star, party like a rock star.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the problem with Jim Harbaugh is he talks too much. He's a soundbite. And he's not a nice, likable guy, right? You look at the Buffalo Bills. You look at the best teams in this league. Josh Allen is the star of the Buffalo Bills, not the head coach.
Yeah.
I think one of the issues in Baltimore, they don't have a star. What do you know about Lamar off the field? Nothing. What do you know about John Harbaugh off the field? Well, he employed Matt Weiss. Congratulations, dude. Other than that, they don't have a star on that team. So my point is, when I look around this league, I don't know. Like your question about Justin Herbert and Kyle Shanahan's system. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Agreed.
Because they had weapons.
Yeah.
Like this Christian McCaffrey thing sucks today because it sounds like he's not playing.
What else is new?
But my point is,
yeah,
I think you have to, the quarterback has to be a home run.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what Caleb Williams does with Ben Johnson. I mean, I thought the system looked really good, in that game that we saw. I felt like they had good pace and good rhythm, and I feel like the thing for quarterbacks is the relationship with that offensive coordinator has to be really dialed in. I mean, it just has to be. They both got to believe in each other. They both got to believe in what they're trying to do as an offense.
And the quarterback has to be the star.
Yeah,
because the head coach, and there's not many of them. If we're being honest, there's not many coaches around this league that are superstars.
Yeah.
Who's a superstar coach in the league? I mean, there really aren't many.
Ben Johnson, I would say. I mean, Ben Johnson, Andy Reid.
Right, but understand what I mean. Who's the coach that's doing all the talking? Who's the coach that's the headline maker? Who's the coach?
You know who that is? Mike McDaniel.
Well,
that's
who that
is.
And they don't have a star on that team.
Yeah,
but
I feel like I'm constantly seeing him talking.
You look at Nick Sirianni, Nick Sirianni was a huge talking point when they weren't winning. Right? They weren't winning. They were losing badly. They were falling apart. I still think they should have fired him. And now the script has kind of changed. And the players are the star, and Saquon's jumping over guys, and Jalen.
Expectations couldn't be higher. Yeah.
The players have to be the stars in this league. That's what millennials want. And that's who is pervasive on rosters now. And I'm telling you, Jim Harbaugh ain't that guy. He's just not that guy. Big Daddy Dallas says, have a great, safe weekend, everyone. Go Bucks. Have a good weekend yourself, sir. Monty needs to get Tony Bruno on the show for a segment. Would be great banter. I used to work for Tony Bruno. The Notre Dame fan podcast, What Thou the Pods, was shut down and removed from their internet after one of its hosts, Ryan Downey, made a blatant racist comment about the Miami Hurricanes. Well, but see, do you know how much damage that does to guys like us? Because that perpetuates, oh, you're just a guy in mom's basement doing a show. Do you know how bad that is? I cannot tell you how many conversations I've had with major network executives when we've been trying to get distribution for our show who have been like, do you guys take this seriously? Or do you know how many times we've had that conversation? It's incredibly disappointing. Not surprising, because you always find out who guys are, right? If you're a Notre Dame podcast and you're talking about problems at Miami, you're lost. You are up in the night because your problems are right in your own front yard.
Mm-hmm.
Go out to Jesus Christ's front yard next Saturday and you'll see all the problems. You'll see all the problems. Trust me when I say that. Monty seems very lighthearted today. He knows going to Tuna Town tonight. Birthdays are great. Go get yours, Monty.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
I'm married. I don't have sex, dude. You know that. Just a guy in his mom's basement doing a YouTube show. To be fair, Jake is in his girlfriend's closet doing the show. This is a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess technically we don't fall under that thing. The stadium guy, James, people who watch the Monty Show know you're on a whole nother level than some podcast done by a 20-year-old in his mom's basement. This show is high class. Well, I appreciate that. Gumby, saw, dude. Tuna Town. Pause, bro.
And he
exactly.
will every single time.
All right, let's get into a couple of games, because what's your game of the weekend in the NFL, Jake? Obviously, I'm a huge Chicago Bear fan, but that's Monday night. Do you have games that you're really paying attention to?
I mean, obviously Ravens Bills, right? I mean,
Huge
I think I think that's going to be. I think it's Ravens Bills, and then in the NFC, obviously you've got Lions Packers. I am really excited to see the Bears game on Monday night. I think not only is it a good test because it is prime time, but I also think that being that it's a division game, first game out of the gate, I think it's a great test that way. I would say the star power of Ravens Bills and the implications that we have seen. Because this is not our first rodeo with the AFC playing huge games early in the year that have implications. So this game, having implications down the line, I think is what makes it so good.
Well, I was doing a radio show this morning. I was doing an interview on a radio show talking NFL, and I said something that surprised this host. I said, I believe that this is the first leg of the Josh Allen coronation tour. And I don't mean coronation necessarily as like a king, because he's either going to be a prince or a pauper at the end of this year.
Right.
The Bills are going to go and win the Super Bowl, and he is going to be crowned the best quarterback in football. Because if Josh Allen wins a Super Bowl this year, he will be crowned the best quarterback in football.
Right.
There is simply no question about that. And I think when you start looking at what is on the line for Josh, it starts this weekend. And I think that it is without a doubt, in my mind, Josh Allen ends this year as a prince or a pauper, because there's only so many years in a row you can make excuses. And I think last year, most of us were on the line of, well, was this really Josh? Are you putting this on Josh Allen? You didn't really feel like you were putting this on Josh Allen, right? But now I think we all understand he's got to be the reason they win the Super Bowl, because there's a whole bunch of reasons they might not.
Mm-hmm.
And the best quarterbacks of all time overcome those reasons. And I think that's a big one. So I think that game right there. And I think Lamar could be on the same path. I just don't know that anybody will scapegoat Lamar Jackson.
I would agree with that.
I really don't think anybody will scapegoat Lamar. I also think Lions-Packers is a statement game in the North. I think this is a huge moment because you look at Micah Parsons, who's questionable for the game. He's got this neck issue thing that he is dealing with. I think that when we start looking at Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions, we need to figure out what the quality of the secondary is going to be, because I think it's going to take Hutch some time to get back after the quarterback. And when you start looking at their depth chart, Marcus Davenport does not strike fear into your heart.
No.
And it'll be interesting to see, because there are still free agent defensive ends. I am very curious to see if they are waiting or if this is who the Detroit Lions are going to be for the first quarter pull of the season. And my question is, can they hang with Green Bay on both sides of the football? It's on the road. It's at Lambeau. It's a late kickoff. It's what is that? A 3:25 Eastern kickoff.
Yeah.
So it's in the late window. It's one of those CBS games. Like I'm really interested to see what the Detroit Lions are.
Yeah, as you should be. And I think that, obviously that's just one of those games that's a measuring stick for both of them. Cause I obviously have talked all week about Jordan Love and seeing what he's going to be. And I think the Packers as a whole, I mean, this division could easily be, a 3-team division, a month from now. There's no reason why. Yeah. I mean, obviously the Bears are a huge question mark, and I think there's a lot of haters on the Bears, but I think they're very much capable of staying in the race for a little while. So this could definitely be a 3-team division, and I think that it's good for the North to finally have a division that's wide open, because I feel like it's always hard. Like if you take your fandom out of it and you just look at the Lions as a whole, like losing both of your coordinators, Hutch coming back from the injury, the choice not to sign Zadarius Smith only to have him go to the Eagles today. Like I think that it's just a situation where you want to see what this division's actually going to put out, because if this is a division that these teams struggle to get to like 8-9 wins, I mean, that's going to be, you're just going to have bad football going on and people not achieving the expectation. But if it goes the other way, where the Lions somehow overcome, the Packers are because on the P&L sheet, the Packers are spending to win a Super Bowl. They're trying to go after a Super Bowl right now.
No question.
And so if they're only an 8 or 9 win team, that's massive disappointment. So I would expect them to be the team that goes out and wins this division. But that's why I'm excited about that game. Not just because the easy surface level take is Micah, but I think there's so much more to those two teams than that.
I think the first 7 weeks of the season are absolutely crushing for Detroit. I mean, you've got questions on the defense, and you're going to Green Bay, you're playing the Bears, you're going to Baltimore. You get a bit of a respite at the end of the month against the Browns. But then it's at the Bengals, at the Chiefs, Buccaneers. I mean, that is a hellacious start to the season, and you don't have time to answer questions. You don't, when your schedule starts out like that, you don't have time to figure things out. And I feel like Detroit has a lot to figure out. And I don't necessarily believe either that you go deeper in the season. They go Vikings at Commanders, at Eagles, Giants, Packers, Cowboys, at the Rams, Steelers, at Vikings, at Bears. So I don't know that there's a stretch in there where the Lions can comfortably adjust and grow. You're just going to have to go win games.
Yeah, you don't have a reprieve.
Yeah, I think for the Packers, we're having a completely different conversation. You've got to get Micah as close to 100% as you can. And
you can't tell me he's missing this game, dude. Come on.
No, I don't think he'll miss it. I think if there's any doubt, he should miss it, because I think you cannot have him out for any amount of time, because they're Lions, Commanders, at the Browns, at the Cowboys, Bengals, at the Cardinals, at the Steelers. That's the way they start the season. So they should win Are you guys ready for this? The Packers should win a lion's share of the first half of their game.
Whoa, whoa, wow,
Melding of brands.
wow.
I would expect the Packers to beat the Lions, Commanders, Browns. Although, I mean, I was impressed with what we saw out of the Cowboys. So we'll see who the Packers are on Sunday night.
I just don't think like the Commanders. I don't think that's just I disagree. I don't think we should expect them to beat the Commanders.
No,
I think that's a close game.
That game's at Lambeau, and I would expect the Commanders. I think the Commanders have no choice but to step back from where they were last year. I don't know how you perform at that level again, but hey, maybe you're right. I think they should beat the Lions and Commanders at home, the Browns on the road. I think they're better than the Cowboys because we'll find out. I mean, that's a long way away from now. And I think that Bengals game at Lambeau is going to be their first possible loss. I think they start 4-1 or 5-0. And then obviously, road trips to Arizona, Pittsburgh, that's when you start, you know who you are at that point. And the Packers have a much more difficult end in the division. Vikings at the Lions, Bears at the Broncos, at the Bears, Ravens at the Vikings. That's a tough end of the season.
Yeah.
So they got to make hay early. But I think this is a really important game because this Packers-Lions game is going to go a long way to control the North for a good month to 6 weeks. And I'm not writing off the Vikings or the Bears, but these are clearly the teams that you believe should win that division.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that game. But if we're really looking at, important games, I think this Chiefs-Chargers game tonight, because I think the Chargers could be measurably better. And I think this is the first year where I think there are 3 teams in contention in the West. And I think it is the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos. So I think this is a statement game right out of the gate. I also think this Steelers-Jets game, Aaron Rodgers has got to be elite. This is a 300-yard, 2-touchdown game at a minimum. I think that's a big one. And other than that, I think there's some dogs this week. I don't care about the Texans and Rams because I just don't think the Rams are going to be very good. Hawks and Niners, that's always a great game, and it's in Seattle. Do we have expectations for the Seahawks or the Niners?
Yeah, for the Seahawks, I think you do. Because they got Sam Darnold, and you went and got Cooper Kupp. You should be putting up points. No
Giants, Commanders in Washington. I fully expect the Commanders to dominate that game.
I think, I would agree with that, but I also think that's one of those games where I'm not necessarily watching the Giants because I expect them to win. I just want to see how they play and how that all looks. Does it actually work out with Russell Wilson and just all that, just everything going on there. It always seems like there's something going on in their quarterback room.
Yeah, I don't even disagree with that. I think.
Gosh, Danny Dimes in Indy. We got to see how that goes.
Well, and you've also got, you've also got like Raiders, Patriots. Bro, just remind me that game's on and I'll take a nap. Like, I want to see the Patriots under Vrabel, obviously. The Raiders are horribly uninteresting this year. Like,
really?
I mean,
you think you don't think there's any there's nothing to Pete Carroll and Geno and
I don't care. That team.
Yeah.
Pete
I'm not
Carroll,
saying I
Pete
roll
Carroll,
out of bed and I'm like, God, I got to see him,
Is Pete Carroll still capable?
Yes, I think he is.
I don't know. I think we'll find out. I just don't know where I go with, James, what is this? Don't start with, I look, dude, I love that you're a minister and a pastor. I'm not doing Bible verses, please. Amari retired. He had a fat ass. Did you guys see that dumper?
Do you know what that's like these days?
He had a fat ass.
As San Diego State Clem, bad take, Monty. What's a bad take?
Yeah, can you be more
Tell me
specific?
about your patience, stadium guy, James. Like, it's just, James doing a lecture on the decide dominant. Okay. I don't want to. We do the separation of church and sports on this show. Didn't really flow the way I'd hoped. Giants were the best when they had a dominant D line. They haven't had that. They haven't had that. So, conundrum. No, can't do that. Okay, conundrum. Tell me it. Yeah, no, you can't do that. No. Giants were good when players were seen in Chapel Bill were running onto the field in the Meadowlands. Well,
yeah,
you're not wrong about that. All right. Speaking of Chapel Bill. So you're saying there's some hurt feelings.
What?
UNC allegedly has banned Dave Portnoy. Oh, wait, my bad. Wrong story. UNC has banned all New England Patriot personnel from North Carolina football facilities.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Bill, all you're doing here is limiting your players. This is I'm not going to say I'm off the North Carolina cool story bill bandwagon, but this is getting ridiculous. You got your ass kicked on national TV, and now you're banning the New England Patriots. I don't understand what we're focused on because it ain't winning football games. That's what this comes down to for me. This is Bill Belichick focused on a bunch of other things other than winning games. And now is winning time because you got humiliated. And this is, in my opinion, humiliating, wretched, and petty. And I don't know how you justify it, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the take. I mean, it does seem like you're focused on everything but football. You're focused on your girlfriend. You're focused on the Patriots. You're focused on, what interview you're doing next. You're just all over the place. And this is precisely my point, dude. This is why I think that they got roasted as much as they did after the game, because if you're gonna be a head coach that's got that much notoriety and, you left the NFL and you took a college job when you totally didn't need to do that, you're asking for a lot of attention. And then everything that's gone down with the girlfriend and, just that whole situation that we've already covered.
Yeah.
I just think you're asking for a lot of attention. And the hard part is that I don't think that, with all due respect to Bill Belichick, I just think he's a little... I just think he's a little out of his depth when it comes to social media and the impact that his actions have. And I don't really care if it's pregame or postgame or whatever. I just don't think that Bill Belichick is focused on setting the correct example or precedent for players. I think what he's focused on is trying to find the middle of, hey, I want to spend all my time in my office diagnosing tape versus balancing the girlfriend's requirements versus doing what he needs to do to appease UNC. And that's a totally different ask than when he was with the Patriots, dude. When you were with the Patriots, you didn't have to care about the media, dude. You didn't have to worry about guys going to the NFL, which is why I said, why did you ever take this job, dude? What was the point? Why did you need to do this, man?
No idea. And it is, in my opinion, This is one of the ugliest situations in college football right now, because I think there is a legitimate chance, a real chance that Bill Belichick gets fired after this season. They will not fire him in season, but I think there is a legitimate chance they fire him after the season. Big Ponif. Brando, good to see you. Maybe Bill should call and see if TB12 has any eligibility left. I don't know that Tom could throw him out of this. But in all
seriousness, I see all these comments about oh, this is his record without Tom and TB12 this and TB12 that. Do you understand that you guys can sit here and try to discredit what he did in the NFL because, Brady was the one throwing the football and all this nonsense. But do you understand how many times the defense bailed Tom Brady out? Do you understand how many times that the defense got the stop? The Malcolm Butler interception on the goal line against the Seahawks alone. Do you understand how big a play that is? I understand that Tom Brady has countless 2-minute drill drives where he goes and win the game. But my point is that let's stop talking about Tom Brady. And I love the guy, but let's stop talking about him as far as Bill is concerned and start talking about the fact that Bill jumped into a pond here that he's not capable of swimming in. And I just think it's such a tragedy on this guy's reputation and his career, because if he doesn't figure out how to fix this and they're like a 2-win team, let's say, if it goes that bad, like this is going to be, hey, legendary NFL coach, has a cup of coffee in college and decides to leave campus. Like, that's what you're talking about here. And I just don't want to see that.
Yeah. I actually think it was good for UNC to get their butt kicked. Now he has room to correct them and help them get better. Well, that better be what's happening.
But you understand it wasn't just X's and O's, right? Like, you guys get that?
Yeah, they're not talented.
Like, they got physically beat, dude.
Yeah, they couldn't physically compete.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, Toot. Monty is right. We need to talk about sports. What, bro, you're not a victim. It just gets to a point where, no. Midweek Coug, how are you? Bill is setting all of this up so his son can take over. Well,
maybe
that might be in 15 minutes from now because it's not going well. Toot Pants, you're focused on your girlfriend. If I were Bill with that girlfriend, I'd be focused on her too. Wow.
But you know what, dude? Like, Great joke. But if you wanted to be focused on your girlfriend, why did you take the job? Oh, that's right. That's right. Because you're not in love. You're bored. But that's the problem.
Let's be real for a second. The girlfriend, he thought this job would be easy, I think. I think Bill Belichick thought a bunch of high school kids would want to play for him and he would be amazing, and that it's really hard to win in college football. It is really difficult to win. And I think he thought Jordan Hudson could do anything. And dude, my opinion is not changed on Jordan Hudson. He's an older male. She is incredibly beautiful. He likes sex. She gets to do whatever she wants. That's their arrangement. Hey, I get to own a jewelry company called Gold Digger. All right, let's smash. Right? Like, that's their relationship. Hey, your money allegedly is going to buy me a bunch of houses. Cool, let's smash. All those houses if you like. Hey, I'm going to put on a mermaid outfit. Let's smash. Right? Like, that's it. It's sex. It's men. We like boners. That's what we do.
Stay hard.
I don't have any problem with it. But at some point, you got to put down the Barbie doll and you actually got to start coaching football games.
And that's my point. I wouldn't have a problem with it either, but now I have to have a problem with it because now it's impacting your ability to coach a football team and win games, in my opinion.
Tom Brady never used that COVID year. No, he didn't. Never used that COVID year. Mark 324. I appreciate what Bill B historically did for the Patriots, but like with owner Bob Kraft, it was time to leave a few years ago before the betterment of the program. Like, you're not kidding. That's exactly right.
I think the question you bring up is valid. Like, what did Bill Belichick think this was going to be? Because I agree, he thought it was going to be easy. He thought it was going to be, I'm Bill Belichick, and I've got 7 Super Bowls, and I've done all this stuff at the NFL level. Kids are gonna naturally want to come play for me because I can help them get to the NFL. But at the same time, because it's so easy, I'm going to get caught on a Ring doorbell camera at what we now know is Jordan Hudson's house, showing off my glass cutters. And, letting the world know that I'm getting after it, which
you're not even going to thank me for that.
Again, no, thank you. It helped my bit. Thank you. I don't even have a problem with this right here, dude. Like,
I know
go
you
get
like
yours.
It.
Like, you want to do it. Like, cool, bro. I don't have a problem on a surface level with old white hair here, dating young, beautiful girl. Okay, cool, dude. If that's your vibe, cool. Don't care. Like, that's you. You do you. But I start to have an issue with it when it's like, hey, like, we spent the whole off season, the program and the media and all the stories about this program were, yeah, dude, 100%, dude, glass cutters. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, Gumby. Like the media and the storyline and the narrative about the program was everything except how you guys were going to win football games and what recruiting looked like. It was all about your girlfriend and the CBS News thing, and like and that's what I'm concerned about. My biggest thing here is not whether he is a winning college football coach.
No.
Like my biggest concern is that this is going to go so bad that it's going to flame so hard that it's going to be such a hit to your reputation that people 20 years from now are not going to care about the Super Bowls. They're going to be like, what was that in Chapel Hill, dude? What was that?
Yeah. Yeah. Chap Nip Bill. Yeah, could be. Could be. Kraft just goes and pays for it when he needs it. He's not paying the girl to show up on interviews. Yeah, I
guess,
mean,
bro. I guess, man.
Know. Eric Wasikowski, this is what happens when you date someone 20 years younger than you. I guess, right? Sounds like Bill Viagra addiction is affecting his judgment. Absolutely could.
And again, in all fairness, dude, it's one season.
He's become a cartoon character. And I think the hard part is this is one of the greatest football coaches in the history of the NFL. Indisputable.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of the greatest football coaches ever. And he's been reduced to a punchline about his diamond cutters and his 20-year-old girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And I go back to what we talked about the day they hired him. This is a huge mistake because there's nothing that says Bill Belichick is set up to succeed at North Carolina. Nothing. And I don't know how you fix it. I do know how you fix Boise State. Because I think tonight is a huge night for Boise State. This is a huge game. You fix it by booking directional Washington and being installed as a 31.5-point favorite. By 31.5 points. 31.5 points, bro. That's how you fix what ails Boise State. I think tonight is unquestionably one of the most important games of the year for Boise State. I know you think it's hyperbole and you think that I am just over the top. Boys, I'm telling you, after that debacle last year, there is no chance that you can come out and sputter, hiccup. I don't want to see, directional Washington kicks a field goal to take an early 3-0 lead. Nope, not happening. This had better be 35-0, and there had better be blood and bodily fluids on the field from the directional Washington team. Because Boise State has got to get their swagger back. And you do that by beating the hell out of lesser talented teams, which I thought was going to happen in week one. And, well, frankly, it just didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're in a situation where you didn't tackle well. You gave up explosive plays. You fumbled, I think, 3 or 4 times in that game. And you just couldn't put the ball in the end zone. Oh, that's right, because Ashton Jeanty is not on your football team anymore.
Yeah.
And now there's this narrative out there that you were complete and totally built on Ashton Jeanty's ability to run the football, and it appears that's exactly who you are.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem to double down on that point, because I totally agree with it, if you're looking at the Maddox Madsen stats from last time out, I mean, a 4.9 yard average per attempt is to me the biggest issue. And the reason the attempt is so short is because you couldn't run the football. And so it's this thing where you have a team here with a quarterback who's on the smaller side physically, who does a good job, in my opinion, instinctually moving and rolling and avoiding the sack, but does a really poor job of putting the ball on the money and putting his guys in a position to catch the football. And I think, I agree. What better way to get back on track than beating an opponent that's below you and absolutely beating the hell out of them? I agree with that. But I don't think that this team is going to change its stripes. Now, they're going to win this game, and they're going to win it comfortably, and I have no doubt about that. But when you're talking about the bigger picture and you're talking about, where this team is going to go, this is not a college football playoff team. And I have no problem saying that already. I think that if you lined it up again, I think, maybe they make a few more plays against USF, but I think USF is a better team than you are, man. Like, more dynamic quarterback, better wide receiver play, can run the football better, has more talent. Like, everyone wanted to crown Spencer Danielson is the best coach we've ever seen in college football when he was rolling out that they don't want guys who just want money. And, we want guys that want to play at Boise State. Well, it turns out that you did a great job getting Ashton Jeanty, and you deserve a lot of credit for that. But what do you have behind him? Because you have absolutely nothing to show for this team right now. And that's what I want to see in this game is like, give me 8 yards an attempt. Give me 4 yards an attempt on the ground. Give me a really solid defensive performance. I agree with you, bro. If Eastern Michigan gets the ball first or whatever, and they score on that first possession, that's a problem, bro. Like, you should shut them the hell down.
And I look at Maddox Madsen, and I think this is a terrifying prospect because he looked really good at times last year. And I think one of the biggest problems that he had was the throws he was making. You look at some of the numbers on him, and big time throw percentage was 4% of his throws, which is almost nothing. His turnover worthy throw rate was 5%. I didn't get that wrong. His turnover worthy throws were 5%. His big time throw rate was 4%. That is not good. In case you need to know. And he was only accurate with 43.5% of his throws. He was terrible in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start looking at the other numbers, he threw to his first read 72% of his time, 72% of the time, which means he was not progressing down the field. You start looking at the fact that he really was not pressured. His sack rate was 3%. Scramble rate was only 12%. And that 12% was on 79 snaps? Like, this was a disaster for the Boise State offense against a team that nobody thought was going to win that game. And so when you start looking at this Boise State team and you start looking at what you really need to do here, you've got to do everything better. And Boise State needs to create explosive plays and run the football. That's what they have to do. And when you start looking at just 5% of your plays were explosive, that's horrendous. And again, I don't know how you fix it. And I think when you look at Boise State, they should win this game by 40, 50 points. I mean, this should be one of those USC 69-0 games. That's what my expectation would be, right? You've got Eastern Washington has a really run-happy quarterback who will absolutely kick you in the nuts if you let him. And I don't think you can let him do that. I think you have to find a way to limit Taylor's runs. And I think you had better hope and pray that they don't score a touchdown, because I think that's the only way to redeem yourself.
Yeah, I don't see any way they cover the number. I would not take Boise State to cover 31.5. I just don't. I think, Eastern Washington will have, a touchdown, like they'll score once at twice at most, but I just don't think Boise State's a good enough offense to put up 60 in a game. I got to be honest with you, because you understand what that requires, right? Like, that means you scored on every possession and you scored 7 points on every possession. Like, isn't
that what it should be?
I mean, that's what
Eastern
it should
Washington.
be. Yeah, that's what it should be. But are we honestly sitting here feeling like Madsen's a good enough thrower to get that job done? Do we really feel like
he was last year?
Yeah.
Right?
Last year was last year, bro. Show me this year, man. Last year was last year. Last year's team, he had the advantage of having one of the best backs in college football on his team. He had the advantage of defenses, absolutely game planning for the run. So they were coming up to the line of scrimmage, which means he had a ton of room down the field. Like, this kid needs to prove he can still throw.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be very interesting because I'm looking at, the numbers I'm looking at. I look at the fact that Eastern Washington was 0 of 7 on throws over 20 yards last week against Incarnate Word, who's a really good football program. You can't give up big plays. They can't score points. If Boise does not score in the 60s and shut out directional Washington, and I know that seems like an awfully lofty bar, you guys. I think that is the only expectation. That is it. That is it. You have to just dominate this football game. Have to, because I don't know what you do if you don't. I mean, Johnny Gonzalez, Incarnate Weed would be a good way to recruit. Ask Kalen DeBoer. Well, wow, Kalen DeBoer catching strays. This Eastern Washington QB, is he Mateer level of a runner? Oh, no, he is a prolific runner. They just can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
Glenn, San Diego State crushed 23 FCS, ranked 42-0 last week. Surely Boise State, we will see Aztecs Wazoo on Saturday night in Pullman. This is a huge game for San Diego State. Is it a huge game for San Diego State? Are there expectations of San Diego State? I don't know. We'll see.
Apparently.
We'll see. Joseph Hart, and I'm being serious. I'm not even being a hater. Boise State or K-State, which one has been the most disappointing? K-State, by far.
Yeah.
K-State was supposed to compete for a Big 12 championship and a spot in the playoff. I mean, it is...
Instead, you have guys getting cut from the team for weed distribution.
It is unthinkable how bad the start has been for K-State.
Yeah.
Unthinkable. And I would love to be able to... I'd love to be able to understand what the hell you're going to do. And the answer is, I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know. I have no idea how you fix it. Because you're in a negative. Avery Johnson actually played well, and you look terrible. That's the thing. You look terrible. So I guess it is what it is. Don't be shocked if Ohio beats West Virginia. West Virginia has no clue what it has right now. Oh, I'd agree with that, but the uniforms are going to be crispy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But like the uniforms that West Virginia's going to roll out are going to be so good. That white jersey with the West Virginia, the WV logo on the arm, the blue pants with the double stripe. Like this uniform with the flake in the helmet and the traditional blue and yellow. Oh my God. Like I'd hit that. That's the second time I've said that today. You guys are going to look good if you lose, but it is what it is. Mark 324, Boise State Eastern Washington game reminds me of why I recorded every Bourne and John Wick film to have something worth watching tonight. God damn. You've got Chiefs and Chargers.
Damn.
That's cold-blooded. The real expectation is for San Diego to gain statehood. Okay. Yes, this is a big game. Okay, I'm with you. UNL, whoa, hello. UNL beats UCLA. UNLV is going to be in prime position for a Mountain West championship. Yeah. We'll see. I think UNLV, I think that if you asked Gloria Navarez, who pays us on the show, don't forget.
Right.
If she could pick one team to win the Mountain West this year, tell me she wouldn't pick UNLV. Come on. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, don't you?
Yeah.
Avery Johnson should sell his hair. Okay. The K-State guy wasn't selling pot. He just got his NIL deal from Cheech and Chong and got paid in pot. Okay. Well, he got arrested for marijuana distro, and I'm going to say that means you're selling pot.
Like, I guess that's supposed to be a joke.
I don't know. Midweek Coug, Washington State barely beat Idaho, could have easily lost. Not looking great for San Diego State. We'll find out, right? If UNLV beats UCLA, they will be in a great position for a Mountain West championship. Well, UCLA ain't exactly something to write home about. Hey, Ma, look. Having some sound issues month. Me? Are we having sound issues, you guys?
I didn't hear any sound issues, but
Me either. Having some sound issues, or is it just me? I think it's just you. Not on my end. Good. So weed's not legal in Kansas. Not by weight. Not by weight. Like that's, dude. That story is crazy. That story is crazy. I wasn't kidding, by the way. Boise State is 31.5.
And I don't think they cover that, dude. I don't think they cover that.
Oh, I think they do. I think they do. Hey, throw me that shoe real quick. I need to get some opinions. Mrs. Monty is going through that. Look at this shoe, you guys. What do you guys think of this shoe?
I think that thing's pretty, dude.
I'm trying to decide if I'm keeping it or not. It's a diamond turf. It's Deion Sanders' shoe when he was in his prime. This is the shoe of my childhood dreams. And
do you not like it?
I'm not sold on the color. It's Notre Dame colors, sort of.
Kinda.
Right? Green and gold. You know, it'd be a good weightlifting shoe. They're super comfortable. I had a pair. I did this with the Jordan 9, and I was thankfully able to get the black and red one back. I had a pair of black, red, white, and gold diamond turfs when they first came out. It was like a dream of mine.
Yeah.
And I was a manager at Foot Locker when I don't remember if it was the original one, but I was manager at Foot Locker. Was able to get that shoe. I wore it every day and wore it out, and I've never been able to get it since. And that was like 1994, I think, something like that. And now I can never get it. And they've released it twice in the last year, and I can't get it. And
I mean,
so
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, they released this one in green, gold, and black, and I'm just so upset about it. And it pisses me off. And they don't have them. My China shoe hookup lady doesn't have them.
Really?
No, they don't have them. So I just remember, I think it was 1990. It was like 93 or 94, somewhere back then. And I just will never, you guys don't think I'm crazy. This is how much of a shoe guy I am. I remember sitting in my office at Foot Locker in Northbrook, Illinois, or in Vernon Hills, Illinois.
Yeah, you were screwed the first time you worked at Foot Locker. It was over.
Oh, it was over. And then when I put my foot in that shoe the first time, dude, it moved. I honest to God. Like, stay hard. That was one of the greatest shoes. That and the black cement Jordan 3 were two of the greatest shoes I've ever put on, ever. And I am just so upset that I have not been able to get it yet. The shoe connect in China is real, bro. Like it is absolutely a real thing. And if you don't, you guys probably think I'm an idiot, and I get it. I get it. I mean, I am a shoe guy. I love it, and I wish I could get the diamond turf back.
Yeah.
But I don't have a way to get it back, and so I will just suffer in not so silence. And
I like the diamond turf a lot. So,
but in that colorway, you like that colorway?
Yeah, I don't mind that colorway at all.
Okay,
not at all.
Yeah, I wish that I had kept it. I wish that I had been better about it, because I absolutely love it. So it is what it is, and I'm fine with it, and I'll move on. I'll cry myself to sleep every night. Monty has his starter jackets too. Oh, my brother, when I had knee surgery all those years ago, my brother got me a Nike Flight pullover jacket, and I wish I had kept it. John Hamm, I've never been a big shoe guy. I'm a hey dude guy or slip-ons. Call it a day. Yeah, you know. I remember the original Jordans, black, white, and red. I got the black, red one, wore those until they fell apart. I have the original Jordan ones. I have way too many shoes, and I have no problem with it. Mother going with our mother kicks. Exactly. John Hamm is spot on. I'm wearing Hey Dudes right now.
What are Hey Dudes?
What's a Hey Dude?
What's a Hey Dude? Like, let me.
Dude.
Yeah, can we look this up real quick and just have a conversation?
Oh,
like, What are we doing?
Are you being serious? This
No,
is who
I'm
we
not.
are.
See, that's the problem. You're, dude. What are we doing?
This is who we are.
I mean, you guys are serious with this right now.
I mean,
Honestly,
I'm not judging. Well, I'm judging James. I mean, does it surprise anybody that James is wearing? And let me put this shoe. Does it surprise anybody James is wearing this shoe?
and I guarantee you that
In the rectory.
I guarantee you he's got the Okie light colorway of the shoe they make because they have a full college football line. So are you really telling me you don't have like the TCU, Wolf of Wall Street shoe?
Oh, have to.
I mean, come on, bro.
Have to.
We see you a mile away.
He has to. Right? I don't think there's I just don't think there's any way. I don't think there's any way he doesn't. But anyway, yeah, I just thought I would share with you guys my.
So wait, what are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna keep it, or what's the plan?
Well, you have to. You can't put it on your foot. If you put it on your foot, you can't return it.
Right.
That's just the way it rolls, right? So the answer is I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. But we'll see. I think it is. I'm trying to see, and the China Shoe Connect website doesn't even have it anymore. Oh man. That's real? They don't even have it anymore. Oh, that sucks.
Get this nonsense off the screen, will you?
Yeah, this shoe's garbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to try. If I could get that, I would do it. Perry Stevenson, Monty, Jake, great show. Thank you all for what you do. Appreciate you being here. San Diego State Glenn, no money. You're not an idiot. Eclectic, though. Yes, indeed. Okay. I have too many hats. My wife says I have too many hats. She won't let me buy any more hats.
But you wear your hats with golf.
I do. I wear my hats all the time. So wearing Skechers with all of the support and extra memory foam and good stuff. Wanted Hokas, but just didn't have the money for them. Oh, dude, I love my Hokas. I am wearing Royal Blue Cement Jordan 3s is what I'm wearing today. My wife, it's her birthday. She picked the shoe today. Monty cares more about his phone than he cares about us. Sad music. No, I was looking to see if I could buy the shoe. I keep a lot of, just so you guys know, I keep a lot of my football notes in the notes section on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm always looking at my phone when we're talking football.
Timothy.
Phil Venzer, a member of the show for 18 months. Let's go, Angry Phil.
Yeah, that should be your name, dude. You should change your name to Angry Phil. That would be fitting.
Will UCLA send varsity sat? We've seen their JV team, dude. I would love UNLV to win tonight. I think it'd be huge. For the
Nico Ialama, your mama might want to learn how to play the position a little bit.
Does he suck? What do you got? What did you guys make? He isn't a terrible quarterback. There's something.
I mean, it's his first year there in that system. I mean, what did we expect?
Yeah, there's something wrong there. I don't know how you. Is Utah that good or is Nico that bad?
Hot.
I don't know.
I think it's a little bit of both. I thought Utah's defense played really well, but I also think that Nico didn't really do himself any favors and put the Utes defense in some pretty strong positions.
I think that it is. I don't know, man. I'm highly skeptical of it, and I don't know how you fix it. That's essentially what I'm saying. I don't know how you fix it because I look at some of the sortables out of this, and I say to myself, this does not feel like a good thing. This does not feel like you are in a place where UCLA is going in the right direction. It is, at 5:00. I think that game kicks off at 5 o'clock in Vegas at Allegiant. He's got to be much better.
Way
and
better.
I think Nico Iamaleava is a good quarterback. I just don't think we saw it against Utah.
I think he, dude, okay, I'm not ready to say he's a good quarterback. What he is a raw talent that's got a crap load of talent, natural given ability, who needs to be molded a little bit. He needs to be developed by someone. And again, and this is what I think, not to rehash the whole dad thing, but this is the problem with leaving Josh Heupel to go to UCLA. Is you're not going to get development at UCLA, dude. I'm sorry. That's not happening for you there. You want to play defense at UCLA? You want to play a certain position that way? Okay. You could probably still get to the NFL. No problem. But as a quarterback, they're not a quarterback school, dude. And at least right now they're not. And that's what I don't think they really considered.
Yeah, I don't know. I man, honestly, I don't know the answer to that, because I when I look at some of the sortables on this, UNLV was not very good against Sam Houston. Like there is no question that they absolutely, positively, they should feel very fortunate they won that game. And when you look at the defense and you look at what Nico brings from that UCLA offense, you feel like, on a certain level, I mean, you almost expect UCLA to score 30 points in this game, based on what we've seen, with all due respect, from what we've seen out of UNLV at this point. How can we not expect them to win this game? And that's what I really struggle with, is how do you figure out who UCLA really is, even if they score 30 points in this game. And I'm not saying they will, but would you be surprised if they did, Jake?
No. I mean, I think that, gosh, I mean, I don't have a lot of faith. I'll be honest. I'm not sitting here like, oh man, yeah, this team's going to put up 25, 30 points. No problem. Like they're just, like they're not that guy, pal. And the problem is that, I feel like, UCLA against, group of 5 competition theoretically should score 30 points theoretically, but
right.
it's not like they're playing a team that's just trash. Like you're not playing, just an awful G5 team. Like obviously, you guys have talent, but I don't know, man. The other problem with UCLA against the Utes was they looked just like unorganized. They didn't look like they had a clear mission as to what they were trying to do. And that's really what I look for in bad football teams, or really in any football team, is like, okay, we know what you should be doing. We know the sort of scheme. Like we know, hey, you're trying to run option on this play. But do the players look like they have a good grip on like the little details and like where they should be at any given time? And I don't think UCLA has that, man. And I don't think Deshaun Foster is some genius as a head football coach. In fact, I think he's the exact opposite. And I don't think that he should be a head coach in college football, honestly. Like he hasn't shown the ability. He's a coordinator level talent. So when you take that into consideration, UCLA is not in a place right now where anybody should have faith in them to like, I'd have more faith in Boise State putting up 60 than UCLA putting up 30. Honestly, I would.
Wow.
I would. Yeah, I would.
Man, you are just not you're not high on Boise at all.
No, I'm not. I'm not high on Boise, and I'm not high on UCLA at all. Not even a little bit.
Okay. I totally disagree. I think it's one of those things where I fervently believe that Nico Iamaleava is better than what we're seeing. I have no doubt about it. I think he is better than we'll probably ever give him credit for, but he's got to earn that. I agree.
And listen, they'll win this game comfortably. They'll win the game comfortably. I don't have any doubt about that. But it's not about, like, when you're playing a team that's, below you, frankly, it's not about just winning the game comfortably. It's like, did you dominate the opponent? Did you inflict your will on that opponent? Like
looking at some of the numbers, I think both of these things could be true. Honestly, I think both these things could be true. I think there is a very big reason to believe. I think Boise's going to put up 60 points. I think they're going to score a ton of points in this game. And I also think that there's a real chance, sorry, Phil, that UCLA is coming out to prove a point. Because when I look at some of the numbers and the sortables on this game, a couple of things that stand out to me, UNLV's offense is going to come out, and I think they are going to go deep, and I think they're going to run a lot of misdirection and try to get Nico going down the field, because UNLV looks like a team that likes to give up a lot of explosive plays. And I think this is a 34-21 UCLA win. I hate to say that out loud because I think UNLV fans want to feel good, but Ema Liava can't do the 50%. What was he last week? 11 at 22, 136 yards. That's not going to get it done against UNLV. You got to come out and you have to be much, 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 much better than you've been. Lopes fan Gabe, learning Oak State James wears Hey Dudes is the least surprising thing I've heard all day. I'll be honest, I didn't even know what a Hey Dude was. But it's fine. Big Ten just needed UCLA to control the LA market. I think you're right. Too early to tell on UCLA. If Utah is truly that good, then it's not a horrible loss to Utah, and UCLA may not be as bad as they looked. UCLA wins by double digits. I agree.
And I agree with that. I agree with that, generally speaking, but this will be a good measuring stick game because you played that Utah defense. Now getting to play the UNLV defense, we'll see how that works out,
Yeah.
But if you said to me, hey, on Monday, are we talking about a 250 yards, 61%, 28-point kind of game? I guess. Are we also going to have 2 picks in this game? Probably. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, man. I just think he's got to show that he can protect the football.
Better not. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt, though, that this is what I'm watching. Chiefs and Chargers. Do you guys hate that this game's on YouTube exclusively? I hate that. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass.
There.
Yeah.
But Boise State, Eastern Washington, 7 o'clock FS1 tonight. I think that's a huge game. And then there's this one. Michigan at Oklahoma, where the Sooners don't win.
Brent Venables getting fired.
Is that's the...
You ain't first, you're last.
So the proper lyrics. Before we get into it, did you see this story? Oklahoma came to an agreement with Riverwind Casino to put logos on the football field in Norman. This is what we've become, and I have no problem with it. I think this is very good business for the SEC and very good business for Oklahoma. Unfortunately, as far as this game goes, I think this is make or break for Brett Venables. I think I am all on Oklahoma in this game for a couple of reasons. Number one, I didn't love what I saw out of Bryce Underwood in week 1. It concerned me. I think this is a game where John Mateer, Oklahoma's going to struggle to run the football on Michigan's defensive line. And I think John Mateer could have a 400-yard game in this game. And if that, in fact, happens, because I think there's a lot on John Mateer in this game. I think the OU wide receivers have got to have a huge night. He has got to use the tight end as much as possible. I think the tight ends in this game could be make or break, win or lose. And I think if the Sooners can keep John Mateer upright, and that offensive line can hang on in pass pro, because I just don't see them running the football effectively against Michigan's defensive line. Mateer should have a huge night throwing the football. And I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. You look at that number at 44.5, totally agree with it. Because I don't think either one of these offenses is going to be able to effectively run the ball. And what I have not been able to find in the last 2 days of building an outcome in this game, I can't find a way for Underwood to outperform Mateer, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think Brett Venables terrorizes true freshman quarterback historically. I think that it's been over a decade since a true freshman quarterback was a plus positive against a Brett Venables defense. And I don't see any reason that would change in this game. Jake, I love Oklahoma throwing the football in this game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. One of my biggest concerns in this game is Oklahoma stopping Underwood from running. I think that if you're Michigan and you're building a game plan against this Oklahoma defense, you're going to see what Oklahoma did to, obviously Illinois State this past week. Dude, they allowed 34 yards passing against Illinois State. And I know you're going to say, oh, it's Illinois State. I get it, right? But 34 yards passing is kind of a statement, in my opinion. I think anybody can roll out of the rack and have 50 yards, 70 yards, 100 yards passing in a game. That's really not that much to ask for. So the idea that Oklahoma is able to shut a team down that way, but then give up over 100 yards on the ground to that very same team, that's what concerns me. Is that I agree we're gonna have a lower scoring game here, because I do think that there's going to be a ton of running of the football, and this is definitely one of those games where you're going to be playing a lot of running, trudging, kind of football game. And the thing that concerns me when you're doing that against Underwood is that he's very athletic, and Michigan's going to put a plan together here where they're going to try and get him out on the edge, and they're going to run a lot of option, and they're going to force you to stop that. And if you don't stop that, you're not going to get a lot of possessions, which is going to limit Mateer's touches. And that's what concerns me about Oklahoma in this game, is they are going to have to score on the possessions they do get. Now, make no mistake about it. I'm not doubting, John Mateer. Right? I mean, absolutely great performance last week, albeit a weak opponent. Looked really good. Completion percentage, average yards per attempt. Everything was great. So I don't doubt him. What I doubt is the amount of possessions you're going to get in this game if you're Oklahoma, which is going to limit your ability to put points on the board. That's my main concern.
But I also think that there is a real good chance this comes down to which quarterback throws the football better and makes less mistakes. John Mateer's a polished passer. Bryce Underwood can't swim, and you're throwing him in the deep end of the pool.
Agreed.
And I think I've looked at I've looked at a lot of tape on Underwood. I've looked at a lot of numbers, and I just think if he is a one-read guy this weekend, he may not survive the game. He may lose his spleen, because I think Brett Venables has a defense that is very capable of getting to the quarterback. The one thing, if you're a Michigan fan, that I'd really be worried about in this game, there's an incredibly high level of discipline in this Oklahoma defense. They are not going to be one of the best defenses in the country. I think this is going to be one of those games where Michigan's going to be in it. I don't think Oklahoma blows them out, unless Michigan's secondary just doesn't get off the bus, which I doubt. I just think it's going to be tough for Michigan to find a way to win this game. And ultimately, maybe I'm too high on John Mateer, and I'm probably the only one in the country who thinks he is. I think he's top shelf. I think he's going to be very good. But I struggle when we start looking at ways that they can win this game. Tell me a way that Michigan wins this game. They'd have to gash Oklahoma's defense.
Yeah, well, that's what I think the game plan would be. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is a defense that gave up over 100 yards against that team last week. Like, I'm not like that. That's a problem if it's me. Like, if I'm on that Oklahoma coaching staff, giving up 117 yards on the ground. Now, I get it. All they were doing was running. They really didn't pass in that game, so you understand it a little bit. But I think that the thing you got to remember. And I don't disagree at all. Mateer's the better quarterback here. But what we can't forget is that this is Underwood's second game. And in the first game, we really didn't get a lot of, hey, I'm going to run all over the place and play to my strengths. They were very much mixing it up. So and it's a road game for Michigan. So that they're going to run the football more, obviously, than you're going to pass it, being that you're on the road. So I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is if Oklahoma stops the run, they'll win this ball game relatively comfortably. But if you're going to allow these guys to get it going in the run game a little bit early, and they get, a couple of carries for 10 yards, 15 yards, 12 yards, like if you see that out of Michigan, this is going to be a very close game.
Well, I think Bryce Underwood's got to keep his pop time at 2.24. As I said the other day, I think it's one of the real important numbers. He got rid of the football against New Mexico very quickly, which is why you look at his first read percentage was super high. But I also think when you look at those numbers, then why was he only rated a 79.9 against a really bad New Mexico team?
Yeah.
It's what worries you, right? And when you're getting rid of the football and you're decisive and you're completing that high percentage, and it's because he was locked on a receiver. And Brett Venables, it's been 10 years. You guys understand. It's been 10 years since a Brett Venables defense gave up. Let this number sink in. It's been 10 years since a true freshman quarterback got rated higher than a 65 against a Brett Venables defense. That was 2015, Kendall Hinton at Wake Forest. And if you go down the list, Jalen Hurts, true freshman, Alabama, 65. Evan Conley, true freshman, Louisville, 63. John Wolford, Wake Forest, 62. Sam Howell, North Carolina, 2019, 58. Those were all much better polished passers. And you're going to ask Underwood to go in there and be something that I just don't think that he is at this time. I think he will be, because when he knows where the ball's going, we've seen it. He gets rid of it quickly and it's on target. But you're not going to do that against him. And I really worry, how does Wink Martindale handle John Mateer? I think it's the matchup of the night. How does Michigan's defense, coordinated by Wink Martindale, handle John Mateer? And I think that you look at this. Last year, they blitzed 43% of the time on pass plays. Are you really willing to put your secondary in that position against Oklahoma on the road? That's the 12th highest percentage of blitzing last year. And I think what's interesting is John Mateer, when he looked at just a standard front where he was not blitzed, he was a 74.6 rating, 9.5 yards per attempt. Okay, well, then you got to blitz him, Monty. Here's the problem. You blitz John Mateer, he was 60%. But his 82.6% rushing grade when he's blitzed was third in the country. So if you're blitzing and they're out in the route, if you don't get home, John Mateer's getting a first down, because he's an elite runner in blitz situations. So I don't know. I don't know that, frankly, we've seen that very often in college football at all, almost ever, where a guy is really not good throwing the football against the blitz, but he's elite at running in against the blitz. I think you're going to have to pick your poison if you're Wink Martindale in the Michigan defense. I think this is because this is shaping up to be a 24-17, 24-20 kind of Oklahoma win. And if that's the case, if you blitz and Mateer breaks your back with a 15-yard run, and then you don't blitz and he torches you throwing the football, you're going to have a long plane flight home. And I'm just really curious. I am really curious to see how Wink Martindale coordinates this defense against John Mateer, because it's one of the most difficult splits I've ever seen to beat.
Yep.
So
couldn't agree more.
It's just, okay, I can't not blitz, because if I sit in just 3 or 4 man pressures, he's going to complete a high percentage. If I do blitz, he runs, and he's rated an 86% runner against the blitz, which is elite.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're Oklahoma's defense, all you're trying to do here, or if you're Michigan's defense, all you're trying to do here is you're trying to obviously you're trying to stop them, but I think being that you're on the road, I'm a big believer when you're playing defense on the road, you're in damage control. You are trying to limit the big play, number one. And then number two, you're trying to create an opportunistic turnover. Hey, when we get that one mistake, when a receiver, it hits the hands of the receiver, ball goes up in the air, we got to get that, or for me, if I'm Michigan's defense, my whole goal is I would love to see them run kind of like a hybrid scheme, maybe play, two high safeties, kind of mix it up a little bit, bring one down, do that, kind of mess with material a little bit. But my biggest thing, if I'm playing Oklahoma's offense, is just limit the big play, stop the run, limit the big play. And if you do that, you're going to be in this game. And I think that's all. If you're a Michigan fan right now, that's all you're asking for, being that you have a freshman quarterback. Let's just stay in the game. Let's not get behind by 2 or 3 possessions. Let's be behind 3 points, 7 points, be behind 1 possession, and then go out and create a game plan that Bryce Underwood is capable of achieving, is capable of executing. And that's why I say I really like what the boys in Vegas have this game as, right? Plus 4.5, 44.5 number. I actually think that this is an OU win, a 3-point win. I think Michigan covers. I think it goes under a 20-17 game. And I think this, while this is a great nameplate blue blood kind of game, I do think this has a chance to be one of the more boring games of the weekend.
I agree.
Because you're going to see like I said, it's just going to be trudging, running the football 2-3 yards at a time, that kind of a game.
Yeah, and I just don't think Michigan is special enough offensively. Their skill positions outside of Bryce Underwood, I just think you look up and down their offense. I mean, they're just not special. There aren't enough weapons around. I mean, they were ranked 102nd last year in receiving groups. Obviously Colston Loveland is in the NFL with the beloved. I think the offensive line is not much better than it was last year. I think I look at this team's best position by far. Rayshawn Benny and Derek Moore are those are the 2 best players on this football team, and their defensive linemen. Yeah. And I think that Bryce Underwood can't do it on his own. And I think Brett Venables is a terrorist on true freshman quarterbacks. And I just don't see how Michigan scores enough points to win the game. I think this is a 24-17 Oklahoma win. And I just don't know how I don't know how you fix that. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's going to be very difficult to do that. You swing both ways, Mike Smith. Okay, I don't want to know what that's about. The chat bots are making my herpes flare up. Oh no, do we have bots in the chat again? God dang it. Michigan 27-17 KG says, I don't know but how do they score 27 points?
It would take turnovers. That's how.
It would Oklahoma will have to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I think that's very clear. That's the only way that you can do that. Conundrum, Wink putting the stink on Venables. But again, I think defensively, Michigan has what it needs to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think their biggest weakness is they don't have stars on offense. That's their biggest weakness. And you don't have an offensive line, and you're not playing New Mexico. You're playing Oklahoma, who has aspirations of a playoff spot. Now, are they realistic? I don't know. But see, Eric, why do you say stuff like this? This is the shit that I don't understand. You say stupid stuff, and it's like, Oklahoma has one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He is a favorite in week 2 for the Heisman Trophy. And you're asking, do they have a quarterback? Like, that's ridiculous. You know that the answer. This is, and I don't understand it about Michigan fan. Why can you guys not have an objective conversation about your football team? What is it that Michigan fan, what is it that gets like the wires come apart or they arc when somebody, we're not even talking about what a bunch of scumbag losers and cheaters you guys are. We're not talking about Jabba the Ward. we're talking about a football matchup. And you're like, does Oklahoma even have a quarterback? It's wild to me. It's wild to me. Michigan is going to run the ball. Oklahoma's O-line is questionable. I don't know that I would say Oklahoma's O-line is questionable. I think if I look up offensive line rankings last year, I think Oklahoma's middle of the pack. Right? I mean, what are the storylines around Oklahoma this year? It is very clear. Their defense is elite. They have a very, very good defense. Even without Billy Bowman, their defense should be fine. They return. I think they have 10 returning starters. And I want to say Feinbaum had a stat the other day. I think their 10 returning starters have at least 300 snaps last year. So they're experienced. That's their whole thing. But they haven't been able to run the ball because they haven't had a number one. And the problem is that when you look at their offensive line last year, it was bad. But I think that they're much better this year already. They look much better. They just didn't have technique last year, right? Like they were not experienced. They didn't have technique. They've gone through an SEC season, and I think they're going to be much better. Now, are they going to be one of the best offensive lines in the country? No, they'll be middle of the table. They'll be middle of the table again. But I think when you look at a guy like John Mateer, he changes the equation here.
Yeah.
Because he's a better quarterback, which they did not have a quarterback last year. He's a better quarterback, a Heisman candidate who knows how to throw the football that makes your offensive line better. Right? And again, Jade Knott's a question, but that defense, Kendall Daniels, and they're going to be really, really good. Really, really good. And I think that's the biggest question. And it's always going to be, what does Bryce Underwood do? Does he become some special player against Oklahoma? That's what it would have to be. Wasikowski says, Monty trying to lump me in with idiot expanded statistic guy. But you're asking if Oklahoma has a quarterback when you know damn well they do.
Yeah, so what do you mean?
Lifelong fan of blue blood teams, have wrapped their nuts around that team and can't be objective about them without severe pain. Yeah, I don't even disagree with that. I'm telling you guys, this will be a repeat of last year's Bama Sooners game. Could be. Michigan fans still mad about the Texas won the game. LOL, hook 'em. Could be. BYU in the top 25 next week. You don't have a quarterback. And you better, right? Because when you look at BYU plays Stanford. And the line, that's the other crazy thing. You're favored by 20.5 without a quarterback. Like if you're a Stanford fan, that hurts. That hurts, right? You're a 20-point dog and the other team doesn't have a quarterback of note.
Yeah.
That's not good. All right, let's talk about my irrational love and obsession with Rocco Becht. Rocco for Heisman. I am so fired up about this game. I think that every week, if you're a Big 12 fan, I think you have to be looking at Iowa State and Utah. And those two teams have to be impressive every single week. Iowa State unscathed 2-0. This is one of the danger games of the year. How good do you think Jake Rocco Becht is?
Oh, I think he's really good. And I think he's going to be the main reason they win this game. It's a home game for them. I think, it's a game where you need leadership. I think Rocco Becht provides that. I think the ability to run the football opportunistically which is how I like to describe it. Hey, the defense is shutting your receivers down in the secondary, but maybe you've got 12 yards of grass in front of you. Let's go ahead and take that. Let's just go ahead and run it up the field. Then we're going to slide and not take the big hit. And then, we're just going to get to the next play. And that's where, that's where I think Rocco Beck does a really good job. And again, you're playing a rivalry game, at home. This is an early game for you, obviously. And I think that the biggest thing in this game is and really this applies to most rivalry games, right? Like the core fundamentals and the staples of the game are don't turn the football over, right? Like don't give Iowa more possessions or any more momentum than they would need to have. And just execute your game plan. And I think that the reason I have confidence in that is because you went overseas and you did that against K-State and you won a game that nobody thought you were going to have any chance to win. And you just simply went out and played your game and got through the adversity and you looked really good doing it. So yeah, I mean, I have a lot of confidence in him. I don't think he's the most talented quarterback in the country. I think he has to win. The way he goes about winning is a little different because he's not just this gifted athlete that can outrun guys, but I think he's showing everybody that he now knows how to do that. And I think this year's Rocco Beck would have probably won a couple more games last year if you'd put him back in that position again.
Yeah, I look at Iowa, though, and I think Iowa is going to dominate the line of scrimmage in this game. And so a lot of it's going to come down to Rocco Beck. I think Iowa is – I think they have one of the top 5 offensive lines in the country. I think their defensive line is probably top 10. And I think the biggest questions are going to be whether Mark Gronowski can – will they turn Mark Gronowski loose and have a free-flowing offense at Iowa? And the answer is they haven't yet, so why would I think they would now? Because I think that Gronowski is a guy that can throw the ball. And he's a national champion multiple times at the FCS level. Walter Payton Award winner, but you're not turning him loose. And if I'm an Iowa fan, this is a storyline I'm going to watch, and it's going to be really frustrating because I think when you have a defensive line and offensive line the way you do, you should be in position to win most games. Yet Iowa, frustratingly, is almost never. And I think you've got to figure out whether or not Gronowski is a guy that you're going to allow to throw the football, or are you going to continue to squelch that? Because I don't know. I honestly don't know. Obviously, Cade McNamara is not coming through that door anytime soon. Brendan Sullivan's gone. This is your guy. He's a multi-time national champion at the FCS level, and now he shows up, and it looks like you don't want him to throw the football. Now, it's week 1. It's a small sample size, but he's 6'3" and 220 pounds. Let the guy eat, right? He's a pocket passer. Rarely makes mistakes. I want to say that he had less than a 2% turnover worthy play percentage last year. The guy takes care of the football and loves to throw. I understand he doesn't have the biggest arm in the country. I totally get that. But he doesn't need it with this offensive line. And my biggest question will continue to be, what is Iowa going to allow Gronowski to do? Because I think that's really important. And Iowa, in my opinion, you've got to open it up because you're not going to be spectacular. And if you're going to be in a close game against a guy like Rocco Beck, who I think has now and through 2 weeks been one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football, you're going to have to be perfect in Ames to win this game. And a lot of that is going to be the play calling. And Iowa State and Iowa, these games are not blowout games. They're 20-19, 20-13, 10-7, 27-17, 18-17. I think you have to throw the football to win this game. In a rivalry where throwing the football has never been prolific between Iowa and Iowa State in their games. This is a year that changes. Because I think that you look at Iowa State at a 3.5 point favorite right now. The number is still 41.5. I think this is going to go against the line. I think Iowa State is going to win this game 31-20. And I think it is going to be a scintillating game. And I think it's going to be the Rocco Beck show.
Yeah, I think that Iowa can't afford to play third down football in this game with regularity and expect to win the game. You're allowing your opponents to convert on third down 62% of the time. So what did we see out of Iowa State so far this year? They like to play fourth down football, and they're not scared of pushing the pace on third down. And I think that if you're going to allow them to convert third down with regularity, you're going to have a tough time beating Iowa State at home. And that's why I say, like, I don't disagree with what everyone in the chat is saying right now. Oh, well, Iowa's dominated this year. Iowa should dominate them up front. Like Iowa. Yes, but I also think you have to consider
Candies
that.
And nuts.
Yeah, I think you have to consider that a lot of that is offset by the fact that you're playing at Iowa State. You're playing against a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback. You're also playing against a team that this particular year has gotten off to a dynamic start and feels really good about themselves and is playing really good football. And you're also playing against a coach in Matt Campbell that's got massive balls when it comes to fourth down and is not scared to go out and get, what, he feels like they need. He's not scared to go 4th and 2 on his own 40 to try to get the first down and keep the ball away from you. And that's what I think it takes to beat and win these games. And so, yeah, when I look at, 3.5, I kind of feel like Iowa State covers that. But I don't think that this is going to be some high scoring affair. Again, I feel like this is a 27-21 kind of game, 24-20, that kind of a game. And I think Iowa State wins. And I do think they cover the 3.5. And I do think that they break the trend. Only because they've got a ton of leadership. They're playing good football right now, and it's at their place. So, and obviously it goes without saying, this would be a huge win to get after you beat K-State, who everyone thought was going to the CFP, and at that time.
Do you guys like the trophy, by the way? Everybody makes a big deal about this trophy. I'm not impressed by this. I guess it's cool, and it's not that cool. It's not a wagon wheel. It's not a
Pop-Tart.
It's a Cyhawk. Whoa!
Yeah. Oh, cool. Nice Cyhawk, Monty.
Iowa State 19-15. Gronowski was 54% last season against Oak State, but his adjusted completion percentage at Iowa State will be 100%.
Hey, Monty, what's his adjusted QBR against cover 2?
And stuff. Yeah. Johnny Gonzalez, Ferentz passes Woody Hayes' big win record with a win tomorrow. Okay. Paul Bunyan is the best trophy, one of. Looks like something you would buy on Wish. Wow. It does kind of look like an AI fabricated mistake, right?
Because it's garbage.
It's fine. Fair trophy, nothing great. There you go. Okay. And then there's a game that Oak State James doesn't want to talk about.
Here, let me help us all out just real quick. Okay, here we go. All right.
Bro, this is going to be one of the beatdowns of the weekend. This is going to be a 12:30 kickoff on the West Coast. Autzen Stadium in Jake's front yard. And I think you're going to, in my opinion, don't you have to go all Preston Stone bent to the left and just give the ball to Hoss Hengy here? I think that you have to figure out how you can play quarterback while Hoss Hengy's out. And the biggest thing that I have is Zane Flores has been there. We know who he is, and he's not that guy. And now Hoss Hengy shows a couple of good moments, gets hurt, and now somebody stepped on his dong, and he's out for at least, most people think it's a month.
Hiscock.
I don't know how you recover your season if you're Oak State. You have not looked good. You have not had flashes in the pan even. I think if Oregon comes out, you want to know about Oregon in this game. Do they come out and try and blow you out and throw the football all over the field, or do they try to run a little bit and pass a little more and run a little more and then pass a little bit? Do you want to stay 60-40? I'm going to run the ball 60%, throw it 40%, and what's their game plan? Because you're going to know if they're looking for that ass after what Mike Gundy said about how they're just a bunch of highly paid guys. Because that's generally the stuff that Jake's love child gets pissed off about.
Yep.
And Dan Lanning does not like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I think if you're Dan Lanning, you're looking to do whatever it takes to kick the living piss out of the mullet in this team. And I don't think there will be any stopping. I don't think they will have there will be no like, oh, we're up by 30. Let's take the guys out. I don't think that's what you're going to see in this game. I think that this is going to be get up by 20 points by the middle of the second quarter. And then once that happens, then you're going to be looking to ground and pound the hell out of them and prove a point. And to me, I just think that this is a very simple game. Oregon's going to cover the 27.5. I don't have any doubt about that. I think this game is probably under the 55.5 just because I think it's going to be dominant. It's just going to be such a one-sided game unless they just go crazy with it and put up a 50 spot. I very much see this as like a 38-10 kind of game. A sub 40 for Oregon, but mostly Oregon kind of game.
Do you believe that Zane Flores can get the ball down the field?
No, not against that defense. No, I don't.
And I like their wide receiver room. I think it's one of the better units in that program. I just don't believe that Zane Flores is dynamic enough. I don't think they're talented enough.
Because you know what they're gonna do, dude. They're gonna sell out to stop the run, right? So they're gonna stop you from running the football, and they're gonna force you to throw the ball down the field. The problem is that they have better talent. They're more disciplined than you, and you're not gonna have a lot of room to pass, even when the safeties are only 10 yards, 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. Like, they don't need to be 25 yards away from the line of scrimmage in this game, dude. Like, I just don't think that it's really all that difficult. And I'm not even trying to be an a-hole about it. Like, I really think that this game is that one-sided. And I really think that Mike Gundy talked all this junk during the week because he damn well knows what's going to happen at Autzen tomorrow. And he wants to change the narrative, and he wants to make this about a pay to get wins kind of conversation, when the reality is that's exactly what era we're in. It's NIL. It's the portal. Like, if you're not paying, you're not trying. So I just sit here and someone asked me earlier this week, hey, would you want to go to this game? We could go to this game. And what did I say? You know, if it's a thing where we get in for free and maybe we check it out for a minute, cool. But I'm not really that sold on going to this game. This is going to be a flat out ass kicking. This is going to be that game this week where you're watching SportsCenter and there's going to be like just a bomb down the field. That's what this is, dude. So I just don't think that, unfortunately, there's a lot to talk about with this game. You remember your take on Boise State? That's how I feel about this game for Oregon. I just feel like there's not a lot of substance to this matchup right now.
And just looking at their offense, I just think, I don't know. I don't know who Oregon is yet. I'll be honest with you. And one of the questions I had coming into the show today was that, I mean, who needs to impress more? Okie Light or Red Ass Lanning? And I actually think it's Dan Lanning, because I think there's a lot of questions about what he's got at Oregon this year, especially with his quarterback. And this needs to be, I think there's a potential that Oregon scores 40 points in this game. I think there's a potential that Oak State scores 28. And if you give up 28 at home to Oak State, you're in a lot of trouble. Because while the receivers are talented at Oak State, Zane Flores is an average-ass quarterback. And I think a lot of the offense died when Haas Henji had foot surgery. Again, it's why I brought it up as the first thing in this game. I think it is. I think that's the real story here. I think it's Oregon 41-17. And I don't think it's close. I don't think it'll ever be close. I don't think any part of this game is close.
You think they get to 17 in garbage time?
I think they get to 17. I'm being gentle and giving them 17.
Yeah.
Because they have talented wide receivers, and Zane's good enough. He can throw one up in the right spot.
Right.
That's a pity. That's a pity, 17.
I mean, they dropped 60 on Montana State last week.
Yeah, but Oak State's not Montana State.
I know. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I think 40 is reasonable, right? Like 35-40 is reasonable.
The problem in Oak State is they're poorly coached and they're under-talented.
Yeah.
Because they're poorly coached. So they're not going to be able to hang with Oregon, rep in and rep out, who is not poorly coached and has a lot of talent. But Dante Moore's got to shine in this game. This has to be a coming out party, or this is going to be a very long afternoon. And then it's going to be a very long season in Oregon.
I mean, they ran for 250 last week, dude. Like,
well,
this
that's
team
all
can run
well,
the football,
that's all well and good. But I'm just telling you that when I look at Oregon, I don't think anybody believes that anybody fully has a grip on who this football team is yet.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I don't give a flying F about Montana State. Why did you even play the game? Right? You're going right now. They go Oak State at Northwestern, Oregon State at Cock on Thigh, Indiana at Rutgers, Wisconsin at Iowa, Minnesota, USC at Washington. They don't have room for error. Because whether you want to believe it or not, I think by far Ohio State is the best team in this conference.
Oh, there's no question. Yeah, no question about it.
And then I think it's a bunch of other dudes.
Ohio State?
It should be Oregon. But it starts tomorrow. Show me who you are, prove a point, and let the red ass punishment for stupid Gundy come out in full force.
I've played for moments like that.
Oak State, James. Oak State has a stud at defensive tackle. No, they don't. Oregon isn't going to run all over Oak State. Their quarterback will have 300 plus yards. I don't know how to.
Yeah,
I don't know
how
to tell you any other way. You do not have a stud at defensive tackle. You do not have. I'm telling you now that there is so little talent and such poor coordination at Oak State. And we can sit here and we can hope and we can feel good and, ooh, they're not well coached. And you guys made two of the worst hires of the offseason at coordinator. Your head coach is out of touch and out of time. And you spent the entire summer on this show slurping Mike Gundy and talking about how things are fine and that Haas Henji is going to be some kind of superstar. And he's out. It could be the year. And do you understand that your best group on this team is probably your running backs? If we're being honest, what's the best group on the football team? You don't have a stud on the defensive line. And Freddie Brock is probably leading a group. Trent Howland. But you're going to have to do it all season long. You have nothing at quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing.
I think the bigger indictment with this comment is a 300 plus yards out of Dante Moore. That's not happening. Dante Moore's not that guy, dude.
This is a bad... James, and I understand you're much like the Michigan fans. There is nothing that should indicate that Oklahoma State is anything other than a pretty shitty football team. As simple as that. And we can sit here and pretend and hope, and you gave up 7 points and only scored 27 against UT Martin. That's not good. Just breaking news for you. That's not good. And when you can't score but 27 against UT Martin, and your quarterback going forward, Zane Flores, was 13 of 20 for 136 yards and no touchdowns, and he ran 3 times for 8 yards, you're in a world of hurt. And you only ran for 127 yards when the best unit on the football team is the running backs. So good luck. You want to hang on to your defensive tackle and you want to play that game? Hey, I'm okay with that. Your best players on there is no question in my mind. This defense all season long will be led, as long as they're healthy, by Brian McCoy and Brandon Rawls. They were your 2 best players last week, and there's no reason to think they won't be your 2 best players this week. And we can just sit here and we can drink coffee and say nice things about the defensive tackles. They got beat last week. So your stud defensive tackles, I don't know who you're talking about, but I do know who you're talking about. I'm just being a jerk. But I'm just telling you, you're looking at a guy in Demarion Thomas and pinning your hopes on him. Who cares about Demarion Thomas last year? What about Demarion Thomas this year? When he's not surrounded by talent, because he's not. And when the quarterback doesn't have to hold the football because the secondary can't hold up. What about that? What about the fact that when you look at Zane Flores, he just has never gotten a chance to be a quarterback at Oak State because your coach sucks. And he wanted to give his kid a chance, and then I'm hurt, and then I'm not, and then I am, and then Brandon Whedon's coming back. Guy, you can hang on to this all you want. All you want. If you're holding on to your best player being a defensive tackle, you're in a world of hurt, my friend. You're in a world of hurt. BYU wins by 40, plays Shine Down by Collective Soul and on the PA after the win. They better. The problem is, listen, and again, I understand that the BYU fan is a certain beast of individual.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
Congratulations. It was Portland State, who I think is probably better than Stanford. But I also want you to understand that you're going to Greenville next week. You're going to East Carolina, and I think you're going to get your ass kicked. Because that's not Stanford, and that's not Portland State.
Yeah, the Cinderella story ends next week, in my opinion, too.
Eventually, at some point, you're going to have to. For everybody saying that BYU is going to win by 100 points, I'm just going to ask you, what makes you think that a collective of 3 quarterbacks, none of them breaking 100 yards passing? So let me get this right. You name Bear Bachmeier your starting quarterback as a true freshman, and you let him throw the ball against Portland State 11 times in the entire game. Oh, but Monty, he threw 3 touchdowns. He threw 11 passes. And you threw for 138 yards in total. Now, you also ran for 468 yards on Portland State. Show me you can throw the football. Because if you can't throw the football, there's just no point to even showing up. There's just no point. Like, I'm telling you now, it's going to be incredibly different when you go against a team who can actually play football.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm Debbie Downer today. Maybe
I just think that people are emotional about their team. I mean, it's an irrational take to, with all due respect, James, like, it's an irrational take to say that they're not going to get blown out, dude. If they don't get blown out, then the Big Ten's got massive issues, and that's
if
what
they
we'll
don't get blown out. Oregon
needs
to find. If they don't get blown out, Oregon needs to find a tarmac and fire Dan Lanning on whatever tarmac they can find.
Yeah, I mean,
because
it just shouldn't even be close. It literally should be over after 14 minutes of game time. Like, it should not be close.
Yeah, and I would just like to thank our Lord and Savior for having a bye week for Notre Dame so that we don't lose 3 straight weeks.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Monty.
Hey, Monty.
Hey, Morty.
The Monty Show presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Be safe. The worst happens this weekend. Be ready. Advocates.com, 24/7, 365, ready to serve you when you need it, where you need it, and how you need it. Clear, risk-free advice. Don't trust your insurance company. Trust the Advocates. And the best part is you don't pay them out of pocket. No upfront costs, no consultations, no retainers. You have absolutely nothing to lose at theadvocates.com. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.